8 de la mañana. Trump, Putin, no dormí ni vergas.
No, sí dormí muy bien, pero me acabo de despertar, honestamente. No me había despertado tan tarde en un rato y estamos empezando 30 minutos antes el día de hoy. Tengo aquí a mi hermoso Don Vinny. Belén se fue a Arizona a ayudar a una amiga con no sé, es algo de fotografía. Ya saben, todo el mundo tiene que tomarse fotos estos días profesionales. Pero más allá de eso, espero que estén teniendo una excelente mañana. Me llamo Alejandro Salomón y bienvenidos al Casino del Tío Salo. Como ustedes saben, vamos a analizar los precios de absolutamente todo lo que nos pidan por acá. Pero antes tenemos que platicar rápido de lo que está ocurriendo alrededor del mundo con todas estas cosas, sorpresas que nos vienen de izquierda a derecha, a punto de abrir el mercado, sobre todo después de un gran dato de CPI. Sé que el video dice, esto no es bueno, pero vamos a empezar con lo bueno. Lo bueno, damas y caballeros, es el CPI. Ahora, estos son números que te están dando ellos mismos. También tienes que entender que todo esto sigue siendo mentira, tal cual como lo vemos. Y la otra cosa que tienes que entender, aunque, y la otra cosa que yo creo que es importante resaltar más allá de eso, es que a través de sus propios números están yendo en contra de su propia narrativa. Como todos los pacos te cuentan, la inflación ya viene, solamente que el CPI mes a mes estaba esperándose un 0.2 de subida y solamente subió 0.1%. El core también estaban esperando 0.3% y subió solamente 0.1%. El año con año estaban esperando 2.4, fue igualito. Y core fue 2.8, estaban esperando 2.9. Ahora, ¿por qué es importante recalcar esto? Y ahora este güey, por la inflación, bla, bla, bla. Vean esto. Dicen que los nuevos aranceles va a crear más inflación. Este güey tiene todo el pedo correcto. Me aseguraron todos los expertos que los aranceles iban a causar una inflación loquísima. Ahí van, no se preocupen. Ahorita les van a caer todos los expertos a contarles por qué la inflación no está pegando, pero les van a decir que viene después. No se preocupen, por supuesto. Lo que pasa es que no tienes tiempo de ajustar. Y ahora me encanta otra cosa que se acaban de aventar ahí con lo de la inflación. Que es no, lo que pasa y por lo que no están subiendo los precios es porque la gente tenía un chingo de inventario y luego les dijeron van a poner aranceles y la gente fue a comprar más inventario. Ahora tienen mucho inventario, entonces pueden mantener los precios tal cual. Ajá. Si escuchas a alguien que sepas que te ha dicho que la inflación va a subir, es un paco. Es un paco, ni siquiera puede dentro de la misma paquete decirse el lado correcto, carajo. Duele verlo, duele decirlo, duele tomarlo. Ya veo que está aquí Alex, vamos a empezar rápido, pero antes la mala noticia. ¿Para quién es malo esto? Honestamente, antes de que empezara todo el desmadre entre México y Estados Unidos, les dije, algo no me gusta por acá, algo está planeando Estados Unidos, están abriendo sus oficinas una vez más. Esto fue el año pasado, mucho antes de que Trump entrara de presidente. Y lo platicamos acá y más de, hoy ven, estábamos en lo correcto. No, son cosas obvias que se están dando, ¿no? Y era solamente apuntarlo porque todo el mundo lo podía ver quien estuviera por ahí alrededor de esas oficinas. La cosa para mí, lo importante es lo que está pasando ahora con todas las protestas, que las protestas, por cierto, es BLM, otra vez, son idénticas, no sé si se han dado cuenta, los mismos organizadores están algo perdidos porque ni siquiera le pueden poner un poco de salsa a este taco está muy blando, no sabe a ni vergas, no estoy encantado con él. Pero no es importante eso. Lo importante aquí es algo que me sorprendió y lo platicamos ayer o antier, que fue lo de Claudia Sheinbaum, la presidenta. Y tengo que decirlo para toda la gente, ya saben que por más que hable y ame a Elon Musk, lo idolatre, tengo que decirles la verdad de Elon Musk. Por más que, honestamente me da igual la presidenta, no me cae mal. Lo que sí es puta madre cómo habla. Me lleva a la verga. Más allá del cómo habla, que me da igual porque no lo tengo que escuchar hablar, pero tristemente le escuché hablar cuando estaba diciendo que nos vamos a, a movilizar. La escuché decir eso y me acuerdo pensar, te vas a movilizar, ¿qué vas a hacer? ¿No? Y personalmente creo que lo están agarrando fuera de contexto. No voy a decir también que no puede ser algo que haya visto la administración de Trump, ¿no? O bueno, Estados Unidos en general. No crean que es Trump nada más contra los ilegales. Por el puto amor de Dios, no caigan en paqueces. No caigan en paqueces. No es Trump, es el gobierno de Estados Unidos. Pero si el gobierno de Estados Unidos está buscando una excusa para irle a armar pedo a México, se la dio. Y ahora, es sin querer, yo creo que es un más sin querer, pero esto también, estoy ya aquí dándote una opinión que no tengo ni puta idea, pero te estoy diciendo la verdad. Eh, esto yo creo, en mi opinión, porque ahora que veo que a toda la paquiza aventándole a Claudia, yo les había dicho, muy probablemente van a empezar a culparla. Y es lo que está pasando. Y yo creo que es justamente lo que está pasando. Yo no creo que esto sea culpa de la señora. Y ahora, qué hueva, van a tener que escuchar cómo especifica que no es su culpa, pero probablemente se tarde 7 horas en explicarlo. Pero sí, simplemente me huele una oportunidad aprovechada por Estados Unidos. Y si no, les quiero preguntar esto. Y si no, ¿México está en el cuento de Estados Unidos con estos actores tal cual? Es algo importante a pensar. Solamente quiero que piensen eso. Nuevo, ni por arriba ni por abajo. Tengo aquí al buen Alex, tengo aquí al buen Farhan, tenemos que empezar. Tengo aquí al buen Vini, le tengo que hacer de desayunar, me tengo que hacer un café, pero es lo de menos. A Vini es el que le tenemos que dar de comer, que se acaba de despertar también. Y ahora voy a ver a Farhan entrar por acá. Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos al Casino del Tío Salo. Se prende, ya saben, nos vamos a ver en un segundo ¿cómo se llama? Nos vamos a ver en un segundo para otro Nadie me preguntó, pero por ahora los quiero invitar a que se den una vuelta a nuestro Discord para todos ustedes que quieran aprender a hacer trading. Cáiganle, aquí estamos, por supuesto, el Trading Academy para que lo vean más de cerca. Los menús son a la izquierda. Esto es completamente gratis, por cierto, completamente gratis. Te metes al chat general, vengan a platicar con todos los traders que andan por acá. Siempre es bueno darse una revisada de ideas. Acá también ellos tienen, mucha gente tiene diferentes puntos de vista, ideas interesantes, así que siempre es bueno apoyarte en una comunidad que piensa y que le gusta lo que a ti. Aquí están, todos son a toda madre. También tienes los análisis de Alex, que escribe como niña en Instagram, o sea, todo el tiempo, y eso es muy bueno, porque aparte es productivo, no está subiendo sus nalgas ni haciendo un bailecito. Aquí tienes los de Farhan también. Más abajo, aparte del chat general, tienes el criptolingo por si escuchan algo en este chat, en nuestros videos que no entienden. Aquí lo tenemos también, por supuesto. PNL Cards, vengan a contarnos cuánto dinero están haciendo. Quiero ver si Tomatito sigue ganándole a Nancy Pelosi. ¿A él cómo te va, tío? Bien, 18%. 37, 19. Yo creo que tengo que checar mi cuenta acá. Bien, 233%. Ando en un don en Nvidia y voy muy arriba y quiero ver dónde estoy parado en este momento, en que abre el mercado. Así que estoy emocionado y compartiendo con ustedes. Felicidades a todos ustedes. Bien armado, perros. Me da mucho gusto. Vengan a pedir tablas, vengan a dejarnos testimoniales y también a ver nuestros enlaces oficiales. Si vienen acá, tenemos una competencia de trading por $10,000. No cuesta nada entrar, solamente te registras. Y si quieres entrar a hacerlo y no sabes cómo operar en este exchange, en Bluffing, te voy a enseñar exactamente cómo. Lo único que vas a tener que hacer es registrarte como cualquier otra persona, usando nuestro enlace como cualquier otra persona, así que sin gran problema. Y estarás participando automáticamente en un concurso que estamos haciendo, donde estamos dando $10,000 en USDT para los ganadores. Así que, ¿por qué no? También tenemos nuestro sitio web. Si tienes preguntas de, güey, ¿cómo chingados se meten y hacen eso en esos exchanges? Muy fácil. Te metes a Elite Trading Academy. Esto también es gratis. Te metes a Tutors. Le picas en Tutors, que son tutoriales. No estamos hablando italiano por acá. Le picas en cómo tradear en Bluffing. Y, por cierto, nuestro exchange BTCC, que también tiene acciones utilizadas como Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon. Tienes los enlaces oficiales también en nuestro Discord y funciona igual que este. Así que viendo este video te ayuda para los dos. Aquí tienes el botón, 5 minutos para ver este video. Te enseña cómo fondear la cuenta, cómo mover el dinero, cómo ponerlo en todos lados. Y le picas después aquí para irte a la página de Bluffing sin que te vean la cara de pendejo. Y con eso ya estás del otro lado. Con eso podemos empezar. Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos al Casino del Tío Salo. Les tengo aquí estos dos cracks. Farhan, Mr. Alex. Good morning, boys. I don't know why the fuck you didn't show up, Farhan, but oh, you're frozen. Must be the internet. How are you? How's you? Nope. You guys got a crappy internet? Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on, boys? Your internet is absolute bullshit. Most likely. Most likely. Ok, el internet, tenemos problemas de conexión, por supuesto. El único día que me paro temprano para hacer esto más temprano, donde no me había parado y no me había quedado dormido, que hace un rato no me quedaba dormido tan rico. Pero bueno, ahora Vini es el que se está quejando con todo. No puede comer. There you go. What was going on?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think the house internet actually is cool.
It is too. We might have
I'm on the hotspot though.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
You bring your screen on, sir. What's going on with the price of the bitcoins? What's going on today?
Perfect. Yeah, and you guys can hear me, right? And see my screen.
Yes.
All is good now.
Now we can.
Okay. Wonderful.
Whatever you're doing now with the hotspot is working. It's hot and it's spotted.
Yeah, it's hot. Perfect. Yeah, no. So today's gonna be a fun day in markets. We had CPI, right, this morning, right before New York Open. We have Trump and China news as well. We have certain key levels being held going into the open. For me, it's really all dependent now on a few things. So we're now looking at this 1093. This is something I've been talking about for the past few days. 1093 is a major objective for bulls to hold. It's similar to what occurred here where we reclaimed it, but we just couldn't hold it, leading to a big move down to the daily 9. I want 1093 to hold. That's the first spot we need to absolutely hold. And you're noticing since reclaiming it, we've gone below it, of course, but we haven't had daily closures below that. And that's going to be very important moving forward for bulls, because if they can actually defend the 1093 level, this has implications for a breakout to the essentially all-time high, 112s. And with what we know on volatility, on the monthly, the 2-week, and even the daily expanding, this actually can go a lot more higher than the current all-time highs. For me now, if we can actually hold 1093, I'm actually looking more towards that 114 to 115 level. But remember, it's all level dependent, and it's going to really depend on if we hold going into today's close, 1093. We have New York about to open, so it's going to be very volatile in the next hour. So that's why we want to really understand the levels and currently where we're at. We start going to the lower time frames now, because we understand the daily level, but then we can start really dissecting it on the lower time frames. Let me throw this off real quick. We want to really gauge this 4-hour close, because what we had was a 4-hour loss of the EMA 9 plus 1093 getting lost. This was important for the Academy because we had went long on this move yesterday. We had pumped. We reclaimed back above support. We've lost it. So again, we just want to reclaim support. This is just chop on the lower time frames. And that's why going into yesterday, I was talking about when we reclaimed 1093 on 2 days ago, it's all about the daily close now. I'm not really giving shorts on lower time frame deviation simply based on the chop. But today will be important, because now what you have is the 4-hour 9 moved up directly on support. We got to start seeing this hold. You can even see here how important the next hour and 2 hours is. I know it's a very low time frame, but it's very simple. I mean, you were being held down pretty nicely by the 5 and the 9 here. We then lost support, no follow through, green candle up. This is potentially a nice lower time frame trap scenario with a price divergence here. But we need to really start seeing this price shift in favor of bulls on the very low time frame, which would mean that you have to reclaim back above meme line support and get back above the EMA 9 on all time frames. In doing so, you can just visually see the flip, the structure shift, and then you can go up. And we'll go to the hourly too. So we actually just got that hourly close. Very nice close, by the way. Even on the hourly, it shows exactly what I was saying on the 2-hour. Makes sense. We're just basically getting held down. All these hours just by the 9, held down, dumped, 34 held. And it's the same zone on where we were bidding yesterday. Because it makes a lot of sense for me, gauging the 34 as the extremity low. I don't know what I just did there. Okay. Often when you're at the 34 on any time frame, it just, the higher the time frame, the bigger the move. This is kind of like the last spot. You can gauge the 9, the 21, and the 34 as moving average range. You ideally want the 9, and I'll get the 5 off so there's no confusion. You can get the 9. You can look at the 9 as kind of like that first zone. Should hold. If we're very strong, this should hold. You lose the 9, you're going to go to the 21. It's kind of like a mid-range for me. It doesn't work like that, but just visually it kind of works like that since it's a 21 in between the 9 and the 34. You lose the 21, you'll go to the 34. This is the big spot though, because for me, I don't use any other moving averages after the 34 besides the 100. Generally, specifically with Bitcoin, because it's all I really trade. Once you lose the 34, you're going to get a move down to the 100. This was giving me great confluence yesterday, which was this was pretty safe to bid because on the hourly, 34 generally lines up with the 4-hour EMA 9. Right, you can start dissecting an hourly and then start using a 4-hour to start making an idea, which is exactly what I used yesterday. Okay, well, we know the hourly EMA 34 is important. We also know the 4-hour EMA 9 is important, and we're bouncing off the same levels as we did yesterday. So that's why now it's all dependent on 109.3. But going back to the hourly, this is actually looking quite nice because you're actually getting a buy signal here. As long as you're above, and this is on the hourly, but as long as you're above all moving averages here, Bitcoin should start moving up, minimally testing these highs. It's going to be important to see expansion now on this hourly, and this has implications for the 2-hour and the 4-hour, closing very soon. We also know that volatility here is giving another setup. We were wanting, now going back, right, we wanted this hourly volatility setup to fire off up. We then had the false breakdown. And this was even like a trap on volatility because you had volatility expanding on the hourly. And again, this is why I'm really just dependent on the daily for that 109.3 level because I know how Bitcoin gets when we're starting to form a new range. It gets very choppy. People, lower time frame traders get chopped out. But this has all the itchings now to bust up. I mean, you have an H1 BBWP setup. You have a nice shift of structure on the lower time frames. Let's check the HPDR if it says anything. And you even have an H1 median reclaim. And this is significant because once we lost that median here, you kind of just started moving down. Next objective should be right around these highs. So it kind of lines up with what I was saying. And again, lower time frame trading, but the idea is if we can get expansion off 109.3, it solidifies support, something we know. This is what needs to hold to get the combustion move. If we know a combustion move is coming on Bitcoin, the hourly will start on the hourly. This is a good place to gauge BBWP with the hourly looking like a fresh SFP, reclaim of the 9, kind of should solidify 109.3 being support. And then the 4-hour last time, I mean, another bounce off the EMA 9. You ever so slightly lost it here. So again, that's why this candle really needed to convince bears, and it still could, that it's going to reject. But so far they're failing, and we have New York opening with other things looking quite bullish into New York open. Bitcoin's looking quite primed to me to move up. And lastly, we had a 12-hour close into yesterday's daily close. And this was something that was quite interesting to me because what we had was the 38.2% directly lined up with that 109.3. I was telling everyone on the Discord, a move down to here wouldn't surprise me. And actually, this made me quite bullish because this gave us an easy long trigger. You simply long here, your stop is here, you're playing the hammerhead candle. So now you know that that stop loss should work. You know that even if you dumped down, the EMA 9 on the 12-hour should catch you. Logical buy signal here. But then specifically as well, you don't have a silver cross, but you do have a 9 crossing the 21. Again, just showing strength. This should start expanding now. Where you'll start being wrong is if you start closing 12 hours under the 38.2% and 109.3. Yes, we did lose 109.3 on that 12-hour close, but we didn't lose the 38.2%. And that's why just solely trading off meme lines, you're not going to have the upper edge against other people that have other things. I love meme lines, but I don't just solely trade off them because this, not losing the 38.2%, the median still kind of way underpriced, would have made me add, in my opinion. And then this is where you need to just like gauge the lower time frames. You could even go to like a 45-minute. Once you had that SFP, boom, you just start adding here. I mean, technically this would be the add zone. But my point being is that nothing's really bearish on Bitcoin right now. The charts are telling me that this should move up to 112s minimum. And then from there, we can see if we get the reclaiming all-time high. Of course, will just mean that you simply can't start moving up to 114 to 115. But everything is still looking quite primed for me. And I am glad that the Academy got long on this low here, because now what we can have is a stop loss break even. We have a nice hammerhead. So again, just know exactly where we're wrong. And then now we can have potentially a free ride up to that 112s. But again, we'll be wrong today if we start losing 1093. We don't want any massive wicks on the lower time frame shooting us back under 1093. This should be solid support leading into the 4-hour, giving us that EMA 9 reclaim, ideally median reclaim, but most specifically the 1093. If we can reclaim 1093 on the 4-hour, you're back above the EMA 9 and you're holding back above support. With a price divergence here, this is all the itchings of a breakout, in my opinion. I will say this, the 2-day median is kind of catching us right at that 110. 110 keeps being solid resistance, I'm noticing, on the lower time frames. So just something to watch. 110 is a big spot. I'm looking at 1093 as 110, kind of is a very, very tight range. You can look at it like this. I'll put it to this wick high here. And then if we start going to, let's say, a 4-hour, right, you're noticing the range. Now, I don't know how much this is going to hold, but it is something to consider. 110 is a big spot. Specifically, it's right at 110,400. So, 1093 support, potentially 110,400 resistance. Until you get a real follow through on either or, you could just be in a range. So I will just say that. We saw the same thing here, where a range broke down, 34 still held, moved up, hit resistance, but you couldn't break out from here. So even though I'm bullish and Bitcoin looks like it wants to break out, it still would be foolish of me not to mention this resistance that I'm actively looking at on my own charts. You can look at it almost like this. And now what you have here is a very tiny range, and that kind of makes sense to me. Specifically when you're, when you're in the midst of a volatility move, you should get compressing moves where it's very volatile up and down, but as long as you know what you're looking at, it should still be pretty simple and straightforward. So yeah, we've hit support, grinded up against resistance. Till one of these gives, though, you're just kind of waiting. But the point being is that it's more in favor for bulls going into today. And Bitcoin, once it really does start reclaiming specifically, and you'd even be looking at these highs anyways getting reclaimed, just on a very basic, simple analysis, something like this. Once this occurs, this is when we really start breaking out. 1093 should just be the extremity low for bulls. So that's the daily, the hourly, the 2-hour, and the 2-day. Again, let's look at the 15-day because this is closing in 3 days. And the 15 days interesting on the HBDR. So we're about to reclaim potentially that 15-day median. Why this is important is because it's kind of playing into what we're seeing on the monthly, which is a major move is coming on the monthly. The move should be up, just, the fact that monthly volatility is expanding and also that monthly pivot is pointed up technically. But the 15-day is now going to reclaim back above the moving average. Remember, it lost in the beginning of the year. This is very significant for me because you could actually start seeing the 15-day, the 2-week, and the monthly all play in confluence with each other, giving us a massive breakout move on Bitcoin. Now, we won't know until we know, and this is still 3 days, and that's a long time for crypto, I will say that. But what I like about this median is where is it directly lined up with? Well, 1093. So this kind of solidifies 1093 for me. It's a major spot for bulls. You absolutely need 1093 to hold. And I'll just continue to keep saying that every day until we either do lose it or get expansion off of it. It's a big spot. And so once you reclaim the median, though, this could give you a 15-day setup, taking you all the way up to this zone at $138,000. With volatility this low, I mean, we've all seen this setup before. Volatility is low, reclaim the median, flip this wick high into support. This is the recipe for a breakout move. It kind of reminds me of this. Lots of chop. We had this high here in March. And it really wasn't until you had that 15-day breakout, close above first that wick high, and then get back above the median where you really started to move on Bitcoin. You actually, once you got back above the median in this move here, the next move was the top of the 38.2%. You hit it here, you actually closed above it, failed and went back under it, rallied back. Like this 15-day 38.2% works well. And it all started once you did reclaim the median. We can even go back here. Right, we're in a range on Bitcoin in the 30Ks. It wasn't until you closed a green candle above these wick highs and then got back above that 15-day median where you started to really combust. And then from this median reclaim here, you had a direct free move up to the 38.2%. Now, the difference between this 38.2% is, well, it's not at $135,000. But let's see real quick what this move would have been. 23%. So it's still a very good move. And then even here. You would chop, yeah, but once you really reclaimed the median, you moved up. You had like almost a free move up to the 38.2%. This one actually broke above it. And then here, reclaim the median, free move up to the 38.2%. So why is it significant for us going into this in 3 days? Well, if this is going to reclaim 1093, we know that that's a wick high reclaim, simple SR flip. I mean, as simple as you could be. That's very bullish, very simple, should hold. You also know that you're reclaiming back above the 15-day median. This got lost in January. Once you lost the 15-day median, this went directly to the 38.2% and then broke down, went to the 21 here. So we know that that 15-day median is actually quite important for Bitcoin. It takes a long time, yes, but it is very important. We do reclaim this zone. I mean, if history has been any other indicator, it should essentially give us that free move up to the 38.2%, wherever that will be. Currently, that is at $138,000. With volatility breaking above the moving average as well, I don't think that's really a dumb idea, but we'll have to see. So 3 days, something to keep in the back of your mind. I'll definitely keep updating that. And then, the monthly here, you do still see the median is above, well, it's at $151,000. So that is quite interesting. And we also have to keep that in the back of our head. When we do see that this was a volatility setup in March, and we were talking about it, and then it started to combust, and now it's full-on breakout mode. And anytime we've seen these volatility on the monthly really fire off, you really do just kind of start going up only. So here you reset it. You started to fire off. When you started to fire off was here in October, right? Interesting. And then you just had literally 4, 5, 6 months, half a year of up only. $156% later. And then it also works in a bear market as well. You start firing off. We know how this story went. 15K later, wherever that is, right here. 60%, 59% down. So it's very significant, essentially. You do have the setups for it. I mean, the 15 days, what I'm going to be eyeing, because that really could start giving us a major buy signal off that median. But in summary, I mean, Bitcoin is bullish. So we want to really look how New York opens. It is open now. So we want this momentum to keep going into today. We don't want this to fizzle out. 1093 is going to be the objective. Very low time frame traders are going to be playing this. It worked well here. Watch the hourly 34. If you start losing the hourly 34 while also losing 1093, yeah, there's not really going to be much telling me that Bitcoin won't go to this EMA 100. The EMA 100 will line up nicely with the daily 9. And so this should be the extremity low. Why I'm saying that is it's very simple on Bitcoin. I took a lot of notice on here. When we were moving up, this daily 9 solidly held the entire way up. Once you lost it and reclaimed it, it gave you a buy trigger, and then you just simply went up from there again. So the daily 9 should be the extremity low. It's really until you start losing 109.300 on a daily close, like here, maybe you lose it, where 109.3, this daily EMA 9, my apologies, could really come into play. But I really would just be understanding of that. The daily EMA 9 absolutely can get tested. And if it does get tested, I would be looking at this as an opportunity. You start losing the daily 9, though, with 109.3, I'll be concerned. We potentially will have a move all the way back down to 103s. But until then, we ideally just want to see lower timeframes and watch how today develops. And yeah, that's it. Now we're getting volatility in New York. So remember, we reclaim this. So we want this to hold. This should ideally hold. And this should be a back test in the lower timeframes. I'll look at Tether dominance now because, again, with Bitcoin where it's at currently, Tether dominance is quite interesting because you actually are breaking down from here. Let me get this rainbow chart off. Now, on Tether dominance, and this is just a meme line, so you can't hold too much weight on it, but we've seen this before where we've broken down and you're not really getting follow through and you're not getting volatility firing off here, or you're breaking down and you're hoping volatility fires off, but it does not. So in this scenario now, you've actually lost the SMA 200. You are breaking down. You also have volatility finally firing off. So as long as we're under the SMA 200 now, excuse me, on the daily, on Tether dominance, this should have an objective down to 3.95%. It's not really until you start reclaiming the daily SMA 200 where you actually have to be concerned, like where you get like this kind of setup. Okay, well, maybe that was a bottom. Maybe this is going to play out. But until then, and this could look like 109.3 then on Bitcoin's not holding. But until then, I mean, this is actually quite bearish. And then we can even get more bearish with it and throw the rainbow chart on. And this is legitimately in a breakdown. This is a bearish retest. Could it go a little higher? Sure, but bears aren't really looking for this wick high to get tested anymore. Kind of just want this to start breaking down from here. And this is tying in nicely with kind of what bulls want, which is you're at support. You kind of just want this to break out from here. So Tether dominance is in a breakdown, and volatility finally is supporting the move. I'd be very understanding of the daily SMA 200 here. Because if you start reclaiming this, you could start getting a major move up quickly where it's like that. But until then, yeah, this is bearish. Any moves up to 4.69% now is going to be resistance. We talked about 4.69% for a long time. Finally, the daily SMA 200 is basically lined up right around there with this channel, with the meme line. And we even see the median has shifted up. So this is as bearish as it could get. And you're kind of just waiting for the daily follow through. Okay, so even median here is kind of holding price. So we'll watch that today. Lose the median again, just plays into the breakdown. 4.3% will be the next objective. Oh, God. And then the 5-day, it's like the median was lined up right around 4.69%. This just looks terrible. And this looks primed to go down to 4.2%, 420 for the culture. But yeah, this looks absolutely terrible. This is as bearish as you'd want actually for a chart. So if this doesn't break down, this would be an interesting sign for me. Well, maybe we're wrong and Bitcoin will break down, but it's really hard to be bearish on Bitcoin when the chart looks like this. Now, yeah, you can say, well, there was chop here and we broke down, but yeah, but you also didn't have a daily volatility setup firing off. You also didn't have the 5-day median all the way down here where we can finally expand down. This is way more bearish than what it was in early May, in my opinion. Let's go to Bitcoin real quick because it should have held the throwback. Let's just see. Why not? Okay, cool. So, this should ideally hold. Broke out, it's just like retesting. Ideally, this is a spring when you just start seeing it move up. Let me go to Bitcoin dominance now, because we understand Tether dominance is bearish. You're kind of just waiting for this to break down today. Everything is bearish on this chart. Even the 12-hour here is extremely bearish. It looks like a bear flag populating. Could you go up a little higher? Yeah, but you're not really looking for this wick high to get taken out. And even if it did go up, this would actually hit the 12-hour EMA 9. And you can see the last reaction, what occurred. So, yeah, not good. Nice. Bitcoin is bouncing off that point. That was a good call. If you added there, this was the ad zone. I will say that it was the ad zone. So that was a perfect bounce. And now if you were aggressively shorting into this, you're kind of sweating and clenching because this literally could start breaking out from here. Again, you broke out. This was a massive throwback, very logical. Volatility is primed. That was nice, actually. Yeah. Congrats if you added there. Academy should have added if you're watching, because your stop is break even now. You're adding.
Oh no. Is it my internet? No. Fine, can you move so I can see that you're alive? ¿Me escuchan todos a mí?
I hope I wasn't talking to myself for like 30
You were
minutes.
for a little bit. No, just at the end, the last minute, if you will.
Okay, cool. No, I was just saying that this was the ad zone, and we literally just talked about this on stream. This is a breakout. This was a throwback. Volatility's primed. If you did add, this was great because the Academy has a buffer here. So even adding would have still made your stop loss break even. You still could have had your stop loss break even. So this is looking now very primed for a breakout. If you aggressively shorted into this, which a lot of shorts did, they're now clenching and nervous because, that's kind of as bullish as it could get right here. So you're kind of now as a bull just wanting the next zone to be 110,000. So we'll see if that actually gets hit. But that is the next objective for me on Bitcoin. So I'm glad we talked about this because, yeah, that was clean. But yeah, I mean, Tether dominance is looking quite bearish. It's just more a matter of when, not if. So, yeah, you're now even on the lower time frames about to break down. A move is brewing, boys. A move is brewing, and we all should be long. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance now. Nice. So what do you see on Bitcoin dominance? Well, you just see structure. I mean, this isn't an uptrend. So boom, 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 boom. So that's kind of what you want. As a bull, you don't want this low to get taken out. Specifically 63.86% on a daily close. This should start moving up though. The only downside on this is, yeah, you are under all major moving averages. That's not fun. So you need to start seeing bulls get to work here soon. It's similar to what we had here. You need to see a green dildo up. It's going to be quite important. You don't want this to start breaking down. And granted, it could. This really could break down. If you start taking June 4 low out, June 4 low, yeah, this will be in breakdown posturing. Visually, it will look like that. And then this will just be a breakdown. But until then, this is at support. Volatility's reset. The 38.2% should hold. And what you have is still an uptrend. So trend is your friend. So you shouldn't really front run that idea until that actually occurs. And look at that. You're at the EMA 100 on the 12-hour. Last occurrence was a bottom. So I don't think it's wise to be aggressively shorting here, hoping for a breakdown. No, you actually should be scaling longs here. Your stops here. Now you have a super dumb RR trade where it could look like this. If you're a psycho that trades Bitcoin dominance, it could literally be this, or you could even have it like this and have the meme line catch you. And your next objective could be like that. I mean, that's just how it should work on support with the trend up. And then lastly, quickly, let's see real fast. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, let's look at this real quick. So, I mean, it's going to be quite important today for Forex. Dixie is looking kind of heavy, so it's going to be important to see how this closes today. I will say that this will have a good gauge on Forex, currencies, and also Bitcoin. But in summary, Bitcoin's bullish for me. You're watching 1093 to hold. So far it is. You're not really, I mean, aggressive traders are playing 1093 on the lower time frames. But your real line in the sand for me is daily closures getting lost. If this starts occurring, you're going to be at risk of getting a move down to the daily EMA 9. This should hold though, the daily EMA 9. But until then, you don't want to be front running things, hoping a daily EMA 9 gets tested and it doesn't. Watch 1093 on a daily close. Daily BBWP is telling me that this should start breaking out. We're really on the verge of a breakout on Bitcoin. For me, the next objective is 112,000 if 1093 can hold. And then once this occurs, with what we know on the weekly being an uptrend, the implications are that this high is not going to hold. We're most likely going to combust, and you're probably going to start moving up around the 115 to 116, assuming you actually can hold 1093. 1093 will be a major spot for me, and be understanding of the lower time frame range here, which is 1093 support, and you have 110,300 being resistance. One of these gives, you're going to get a move on a daily. And that's all I have on Bitcoin.
Nice. Very nice. I see. Oh, no. Farhan's alive and moving around. Throw me your screen, sir. There you go. Now you're in. Now we're all in.
Buenos dias, muchachos.
Buenos dias. I thought you were in it already. Sorry about that.
Now we're all in.
No, it's not.
No,
Is it in yet? Is it in?
Oh, we're all in right now. It's pretty
We're all
gay.
in. Just can't tell. Just can't tell.
It's the Asian boys. That's what they're going to call us. And it's not because the market opens in Asia and we're happy about it.
That's so funny.
So I'm gonna start with the 2-day right now on the Bitcoins. We got a bounce all the way. I mean, not a bounce, but a wick low all the way down to the median, and we got slightly below the median, which is at basically $109,000, and we got a strong bounce from there so far. From the wick low to where we are right now is about a 1.27% bounce. Quite a decent amount in one candle. And as long as we are holding over that median, likely we're going to get one more test of it, and then that's probably going to be a spring into this top 38.2%. Which right now that is sitting at new all-time highs at about $114,000. But if we look at our momentum is starting to flip back up, getting out of the bearish control zone, getting into the reset zone, and the volatility is now sitting at extreme lows at 4%. This would be the area where volatility would start expanding with momentum flipping to the upside, especially if you're tapping $114,000. Likely that volatility is going to take you a lot higher than $114,000, probably somewhere to the 61.8% like it went over here and it went over here. And that 61.8% right now sits at right about $118,800, just below about $120,000. If you look at a jewel, the jewel right now has lost the sell signal and is giving you a neutral signal. That's also leaning more towards the break E posturing. You're down to the daily. Daily is also flipped to the upside. Volatility now also supporting it. We're getting somewhat of a topping candle, but we haven't lost this candle's wick low. And as long as we are holding above this candle's wick low, probabilities are higher than not that we're not going to get more of a deeper correction, and that we're probably just going to continue to the upside. Once you start to lose this candle's wick low at about $108,271, that's where it becomes more likely that you're going to come back down and retest this 9 somewhere around 107. But until then, you're more likely to grind out a bottom somewhere over here than over here. Jewel is also still giving you a buy signal. Also tells you that you probably shouldn't be looking for too much of a downside move. 5-day is also right at that median right now. It is technically currently pointed to the downside, but on momentum, but volatility is also contracting, so it's still you're probably going to get a higher low. and volatility is now sitting at extreme lows, while momentum is putting in hidden bullish divergence by dropping below all of these lows and momentum while making a higher low. And you're getting a dual signal right now with the pink crossing above the yellow. So once this consolidation phase is done, and especially if you're holding over the median, you're likely going to get some busting action to that same $118,000 area. Now I'll switch over to the index. No, don't touch that.
So eats people.
Badass Fibonacci.
See? How close was I? How close was I? He was eating a bag of something. Alex was asking what the noise was. That was
He was
going
munching
on.
He was munching on my conchas.
It sounded like you were eating a bag of runners. That was my bet. And there you go. Pretty close. Pretty close. I know my sounds.
This freaking fat ass cat. He literally just ate more than he usually eats.
You should have named him Garfield. Does he like Mondays?
Seen him orange.
I'm sorry. This is too old for you guys.
Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I know Garfield.
Oh, thank
Making
God.
lasagna for his birthday.
Oh, thank God, Jesus.
Well, that 5 days has that hidden bullish divergence possible now, and it will confirm with any close over about $110,616, and that's going to take us pretty quickly up to that $118,000 area. And it would also go along with that jewel signal. Come on. Weekly is also starting to flip down on momentum while volatility contracts. Let me switch over to the index so we have more data. And weekly is also now putting in very close to putting in a possible hidden bullish divergence. I guess it technically is because below this level here. And it will confirm with any close above about 106,843. So it looks like pretty likely that weekly hidden bullish divergence is going to confirm. And that's going to give us pretty easy targets of that 38.2%, which is at about $120,000. Let's go 2 week. 2 week is also still positioned to the upside on momentum, getting very close to the bullish control zone, getting now over the reset zone to 12.94% now, while volatility is now at extreme lows below 15%, and we have a confirmed buy signal on the jewel with 2 periods of the light blue, and we are above the median, giving us targets of that 38.2%, which every candle close, this level is going to change. Right now, it's sitting at about $130,000. So, meaning if we go to the 38.2% in the next 11 days, that would be $130,000. Monthly is now still flipped to the downside on momentum while volatility expands. But if you were to get a monthly close above about 104,653, or if you get any tick above basically $112,000, likely momentum is going to flip back up with volatility, and that's going to take you towards the median, which if you hit the median in the next 19 days, it's $151,000, but very likely is going to change. And the quarterly is now solidly over that median at $103,000. Closes in 19 days. Pretty close, but 19 days isn't an eternity in cryptocurrency land, but if you consider the time frame quarterly, 2 weeks for a quarterly is not bad. And your target would be, if closing over the median is at 38.2%, which most definitely is going to change, but right now is at 193,900. This number is not very relevant. What's more relevant is the number you get when on this closure. Now let's switch over to Tether. Tether is now still breaking down, and we are now below that meme line that we bounced on the previous monthly candle, and losing this meme line would pretty simply bring you down to the bottom meme line, and but the significance of getting down to this area and losing these meme lines is that you've lost all of your major EMAs, and that's going to bring you down to a magnet of the 100. So probably most likely you're going to get a little bit of a bounce at this meme line right here. This bounce is very likely going to fail, and it's likely going to take you down to this 100, which is at about 3.4%. And that currently is, in terms of Tether, down another like 24, 25%. That correlates somewhere around of like a 40 to 50% pump on Bitcoin. That takes Bitcoin to somewhere around 140 to $150,000. That monthly median is 151. Interesting. 2 week is now getting a deviation of this meme line after struggling to close over it. Rejected it, closed over it, and now it's right back below, taking rid of that bottom meme line, which lines right up with this 200 almost at about 3.89%. Well, momentum is now freshly breaking into the bearish control zone, and volatility is now expanding, and you're getting a sell signal on the jewel. Weekly, it's also getting a nice breakdown. Momentum was trying to pick back up. You get a retest of the 38.2%, retest of the silver cross down, and now you're just getting a rejection of that 38.2%, and the meme line taking you down to the 78.6%, and this bottom meme line. And very likely momentum is about to shift back into the bearish control zone. 5 days, beautiful retest of that silver cross, nice rejection of the median, and now target should be somewhere around this 50%, which lines right up with this meme line. And you're getting a sell signal on the jewel now with the pink crossing below the yellow. 2 days as well, nice little retest of that meme line, and now you're losing the median with momentum freshly flipping to the downside, and you're sitting at almost 0% volatility. Nice setup for a break dune. Daily is still rejecting that bottom 38.2%. Momentum is very close to breaking into the bearish control zone. If this candle does turn red, this is going to get very ugly. Probably you're going to get a nice little dump ski to somewhere around the 78.6% at least.
Blow off top. Blow off top.
Let's get the blow off top in the next 3 weeks and then call it a day.
That's exactly my timeline, because GDP should be the most bullish thing in the universe when everyone sees it, even though everyone knows it's going to come in high. But you know how retards will retard. They need to see it for some reason.
And then send the Bitcoins to $150,000, and then we can just start our steady decline from there.
Yep.
Please let me get that short at $151,000.
Oh, that would be insane.
And write it all the way down to 70K. That'd be amazing.
Oh, I'll write it. All right. I'll write it.
I'll write a lot of things. Are we still speaking of setups?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
4 hours now, also about to break down, getting below the median, getting pretty low below the median. And last time we lost the median on the 4 hours all the way back over here, and we got a nice dump ski at the 88.3%. Right now, the 88.3% sits at 4.4%. That would be how much of a move down on Tether? That would be another like 3.5% down on Tether, correlates to roughly a 9 to 10% move on Bitcoin. Pretty nice. Let's go to RSI. Quarterly is still going to have the bearish divergence. Yep, still there. And you got a nice little head and shoulders. And you're even closer now to that bearish engulfing. Monthly's got that hidden bearish divergence confirmed on the last closure. And you're coming closer and closer to that target of that 100 EMA. And your simple moving average is at 3.7%, right above your 100. Weekly's also still got that bearish divergence. Your next move, if you can continue to keep getting a close rate below 4.62%, should activate towards that 100 EMA on the monthly. Nothing there. 2 day has a fresh drive of hidden bearish divergence. Your next target of that bearish control zone should come once you lose about 4.36%, and that sits at about 4.11%, not much lower. And 2 days giving you that hidden bearish divergence with volatility expanding from 2 periods to 0%. Bitcoin still got the hidden bullish divergence compared to Tether's bearish. and your target sits at that critical zone, which right now is at about $200,000. This level will change in about 19 days. Monthly has already invalidated the bearish divergence, put in the hidden bullish divergence, did it on the jewel, and it did it on the stochastic. We'll get to that on the next chart. And you're getting a monthly volatility setup. Target, you've already hit the simple moving average, so your next level is the critical zone, which right now sits at about $160,000. And this is going to change in 19 days. Maybe it'll go to 150. 2 week has hidden bullish divergence. You with the volatility setup, and your next target is that simple moving average, which right now sits at about 132. Six-day closes in about 10 hours. Just about to put in another drive of hidden bullish divergence, and it will confirm with any close over 106,843. And that will take us to the critical zone, which is right now at 135. Very similar numbers before. And then, 4 hour currently has bearish divergence. Interesting. It will invalidate if you can close above basically about 109,621. And if that doesn't validate, that's going to take you up to the critical zone, which right now sits at about 113, slightly new all-time highs. And let's zoom in on this RSI. Oh, it'll also put in another drive of hidden bullish divergence if you can close over that level. All right, now switch over to the momentum. And you're getting the bearish divergence off the back of a volatility reset, which is a bullish sign. Tether. Tether is still positioned heavily to the downside on the quarterly, and it's going to be pointing down below 5.66%. But as long as you're closing over about 2.23%, that is going to be possible for a possibility for a hidden bullish divergence. And if that confirms, likely it's going to be the end of the party. And your favorite dog shit coin might even go to zero. Volatility on the monthly is now expanding, and momentum is right about to get to the edge of of the bearish control zone. Very likely on this next 19 days when the candle closes, we're going to be at the edge of the bearish control zone, and at that point, the pivot is likely going to go up. Right now, it is still pointing to the upside. 2 week is already freshly flipped to the downside, which is what I'm looking to happen on the monthly with a volatility setup, and we're going to be pointed down below 5.6%. Weekly as well, pointing to the downside below 4.93%, and now we're getting a volatility expansion with the momentum down. Very likely going to fuel our move below this meme line toward that monthly 100. See if 6 days got the bearish like Bitcoin is bullish. Yeah, you've got hit bearish divergence. Momentum went over these levels here while price made a lower high, and it is now confirmed. And target of that divergence should be the easy one is this meme line, but the next one after we lose this meme line is at about 3.5% monthly 100, and we're going to be down below 4.73%. 5-day right now is flipped to the upside with volatility contraction. Very, very likely this is going to flip down pretty soon, and you are going to be flipped up about 4.49%. You have 3 days and 10 hours left to go. Bears only have to drop it by 0.06%. And based off of how the candles look, it kind of does look like it's going to flip down.
Come on, little bears.
Let's do it, bears. Bring
Sorry, I was going to say that even in football, the bear, even in football, the Bears are bad. So Bad Bears, fucking get some shit done. God damn it. Even if it's on.
Are they better than or worse than the
USDT.
Cowboys?
No. The Bears, like, they're fucking, like, the Cowboys are good, but the problem is they're good but never win anything. It's like, I don't know. It's like being perfectly mediocre for your entire life. The Bears are awful. Awful.
What
Just
about
like
the
in
Houston
here.
Texans?
Can't get it. The Texans are getting good. I like the Texans, dude. I like the Texans.
Oh, nice. Houston's doing something.
Look at you, huh? You thought that they were not going to be able to do anything ever, but yeah.
Hey, look at
Football
us.
is,
Look at us.
yeah, look at us.
Who'd have thought? Not me. 2 days
So-
getting volatility set up with that 2 periods expand,
No.
and we're flipping down on momentum, and we're going to be down below 4.61%. This is a beautiful setup because if you look at the last time we had one of these setups, momentum was flipped up, and we got a nice move to the upside. We got a move up of about 16%. Let's find the last one that applied to the downside. It's been a minute. This one was in January of 2024, where we started expanding on here, and then we got a nice actual expansion to the downside. And from the closing basis, or the opening basis, I mean, we went down about 39%. Let's find another one. Here's a good one. About 12% immediately, and then about 18%. So that would equate, even if we get a 12% move down, that'd be like a 25% move up on Bitcoin. Here's some more ones. This was to the upside. Here's one nice one to the downside. 18%. So we got a nice move coming. Daily as well, the volatility expansion, momentum to the downside, and a derp of death below 4.86%. And 4 hours freshly flipping to the downside below 4, and it's going to be down below 4.56%. Whereas Bitcoin is remaining to the upside with volatility expansion from the highest, the lowest level ever, and it's going to be pointed up above 95 too. Monthly is going to be freshly flipped up, and it's going to remain up above 103,800. And the volatility set up on the monthly has a 100% hit rate to go in the direction of momentum, which right now momentum is flipped to the upside, and we're about, I want to say, $6,000 above the pivot at the moment. And based off of the last couple of setups, a 50% move up is not even 50%, it's like 40% now. It's not very crazy to tap 150. 2 week is now also getting a volatility set up, just getting to the expansion phase over the moving average, but has not gotten over the 15% yet. And right now we are heavily pointed up as long as we're above $92,600. And if we see the last time we had this volatility set up, well, let's count this one, and then there was this one. Let's do this one right here. Expand it off from this candle. This was 57%. This one here was expanded off from this one. About 106%. Even 50% would be over $150,000. That would be closer to 160. Yeah, about $165,000. Weekly is now strongly flipped to the upside with volatility expansion over 106,600. What do you think would be that level that causes the 2021 and 2017 type of mania? 150, 160?
I think so. Because once you touch 150 and get past, I think passing 120, 130, people will think it's going to go to 200. And 150 also, while some people are expecting it, it's not as on everyone's mind. Like everyone will go for I think the narrative will flip once we pass 120. This is going to 200 now. And then Kathy Wood will come out and say, my pussy's dry and Bitcoin will be worth $30 billion by 2,400. And everyone will be like, oh my God, Kathy Wood, who never gets anything right and is the worst investor in the world, just said that Bitcoin's going to go to 2,400 million quadrillion dollars by 2020, by 2,400. And yeah, that's how they're going to get them. All the retards.
Then
the
thing people are going to be the thing people are going to be thinking at 150 is, oh, I only need 2 Bitcoin and I can buy a house.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then they're going to get mega fucked. Again, even CPI today was lower, which, by the way, it's their own numbers, which is incredible because their own narrative is like inflation is going up, but they're giving everyone lower numbers too. It's amazing. You can't write this up. It's incredible.
It's funny how people said the numbers were cooked when Biden was president, but they can't be cooked because Trump is president. Oh,
they're super cooked.
One president would cook the numbers and the other president wouldn't. He wouldn't cook them out of the goodness of his heart.
No. This guy.
It's because he's an honest man.
Exactly. He does that dance. At least he does a lot of voices like this. He does like to talk about China.
And he likes to jerk off the invisible ghost. He likes to jerk him off. He likes the good. He likes.
Oh, I wish people could see your screen right now. Yes, indeed.
Okay, let's shift to the 5 days. 5 days still flip to the downside. The pivot is currently about $110,950. We're about $1,000 away from that level right now, and we've got 3 days left to go, which is an eternity in cryptocurrency land. So if we do manage to flip this back up, very likely within the next 10 days maximum, we're going to see some busting action.
Yeah.
2 days. 2 days. Well, has that volatility set up now. We're sitting at 4.37%. Well, momentum is pointed freshly to the upside, rejecting getting out of the bullish control zone, and it's going to be pointed up above $107,750. And what level do we get volatility expansion off of? Very likely we will get volatility expansion if it goes over 110,617. Daily is already getting the volatility expansion, sitting at 36%, below the 15% level, and we're pointed up above 103,400. Let's see the last volatility expansion, how much we went to the upside. Up about 16%. So let's apply that 16% from this level here. Let's be conservative and do 15%. 5% so far. Takes us to about $121,000. And 4 hours now freshly flipped to the upside as long as price is above $109,670. All of the higher time frames on Bitcoin remain omega bullish. We got a beautiful United States pattern on the 3-month. We have volatility expansion and momentum remaining to the upside, never once flipping down on the quarterly above, as long as we're above $95,200. Monthly is now freshly back to the upside, putting in hidden bullish divergence, taking out the bearish divergence. We got a hidden bullish divergence on the Joule and on the stochastic. Every single momentum indicator has it. 2-week has the hidden bullish divergence. Monthly has confirmed the volatility setup above the 15% and momentum being to the upside, which has a 100% hit rate of going in the direction of momentum. 2-week is also bringing that volatility setup, and the 2-day now has that volatility setup below that 15%, and both of them have momentum pointed towards the upside, and all the way down to the 4-hour momentum is currently pointed to the upside. Very, very likely that 4-hour momentum is going to take us to somewhere around $110,000 to $111,000. If you can get a daily closure over $110,620, very likely you're going to get that volatility firing off, and that's going to take you to your first stop somewhere around $118,000-ish.
That's in what time frame? I'm sorry.
That's a daily.
Okay.
Likely going to get somewhat of consolidation and rejection around 118 to 120. and then probably you're going to make your way towards that monthly median, which is around $150,000. And the invalidation in all of this is getting either 24,400 or getting a weekly close below about, let's say, $92,000, $92,900 to say that we're not going to go up at all. And if you want a little bit of a pullback, then you would have to get a weekly close below about 100,400. That would be a long form pullback, but it's still very likely that will end up bullish. But if you get a weekly close below about 92.9, pretty unlikely that will end up bullish. But I'm leaning not towards that happening. I'm more leaning towards going up to somewhere around 111s, and then getting your confirmation, and then blasting towards 118 to 120, and then eventually that median about 150.
All righty, let's do S&P 500, and maybe we can look at all the indexes at once when going through that one, because they're all pretty similar, and I think we will have time. S&P 500 would be next, along if you or whoever wants to do it, look at some other NASDAQ and all that shit. I'd say probably S&P 500, a little bit of the NASDAQ, and maybe the Dow Jones because it's different, and Rivian after, because a lot of people are in it to win it. Let me see where the fuck Tesla is. Oh, 332. Who would have seen that coming? Rivian.
I know, right?
The most beautiful buys at the bottom. The most beautiful buys.
I gotta say, Tesla's easy as fuck to trade. You don't even have to know the charts. You just go on Twitter, listen to those people, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Crazy. Solana, dude. Look at those salamis.
Yeah, it's looking strong.
Hey, good for us, boys. Good for us. Academy long looking good. Almost a breakout. I'd say breakout zone. I like it. Let's do this. Thank you. Thank you, boys. It's like someone.
If you are in the academy, we look at the trading signals, because there is a 4-hour lower time frame Tesla long I posted.
Got it. Perfect. I'm going to translate that and start. Si están en la academia, por favor, vayan a las señales ahorita, dense una vuelta a la página de las señales que acabamos de poner. Alex acaba de mandar algunas señales también en temporalidades más cortas, como un long en Tesla, etcétera, para que ahí lo tengan también. Tesla, qué movidas tan excelentes nos ha dado. Vamos a empezar con Bitcoin, vamos a analizar esto, por supuesto. Tenemos las líneas memes listas. Estamos viendo la vista trimestral, por supuesto, en la vista trimestral. Tenemos el promedio del 5 justamente en los 85 y el 9 en los 64, 750. Esto es muy alcista, damas y caballeros. Además de que precio está creando estructura muy alcista, tenemos obviamente nuestros bajos más altos, bajos más altos, bajos más altos, más y más. Y altos más altos, altos más altos, altos más altos, altos más altos, y el alto más alto con la posibilidad de cerrar la vela trimestral más potente de toda la historia. El cierre más alto en la vela trimestral había sido 93,220. Estamos cotizando en 109,914. Excelente también con ese gran long que mandamos para todos ustedes en la academia el día de ayer. Vamos a... No quiero ver los settings de esto. Queremos ver exactamente esto. HPDR, pueden ver que 113,000 es la parte alta de la zona azul. Una vez que rompes a través de la media está en 88, nos impulsamos hacia la parte alta y vamos a ir a buscar ese nuevo máximo histórico en 113,817. Un cierre por encima de eso nos va a poner el siguiente objetivo en casi $150,000, en $147,000, que es el 50%. Y ni siquiera voy a voltear a ver para arriba, ¿ok? Porque ya $150,000 creo que para todo el mundo es un excelente objetivo para empezar a soñar. Se vale soñar y No sé si esa canción existe o no, si me la inventé. Recuerden que cuando te vuelves viejo, por alguna razón tienes que cantar todo lo que dices. No lo creía cuando veía a mis tíos, pero es cierto. Es cierto. Tenemos expansión de volatilidad en la mensual. Recuerden, esto es nuestro indicador de volatilidad. Se llama BBWP. Tenemos aquí arriba el 100%, aquí abajo el 0%. Aquí abajo yo puse esta línea meme verde en el 15%. La línea de volatilidad es la de colores. La blanca es el promedio y para nosotros volatilidad expande una vez que está por encima de la línea blanca, pero el setup ideal es por debajo del 15% y después salir. No lo dio, pero viene también de uno de los puntos más bajos de toda la tabla en la historia y podemos ver esta expansión ante este velazo verde. Creo que es bastante explicatorio. Eso está apoyando también momentum, está de nuestro lado para los alcistas y continúa empujando a la alza. Más allá de eso, también en la mensual Estamos por encima del 5, 9, 21. Todos los promedios están perfectamente organizados y simplemente ha sido una explosión de sabor desde estos $25,000 con el gran setup de Jamás, por supuesto, en octubre que comenzó toda esta subida. Así que mucha gente está enojada con la gente de Jamás. Solamente estoy diciendo que ellos empezaron este explosivo movimiento hacia arriba. Güey, ¿cómo te atreves a justificar? Ok, con eso. Díganme qué otra página analiza el mercado tan dinámicamente como nosotros. Díganmelo. Los espero. Pueden ver que estamos entrando en la zona azul en la mensual. Tenemos nuestra media, hijo de puta, en los $137,146. Estos objetivos se empiezan a poner locos y creo que tienen razón. Les voy a decir por qué. Viene, inflación está a la baja. Yo sé que todos los pacos les están diciendo que va para arriba, pero la inflación, hasta los números que te están dando vienen para abajo. Y ahora viene el PIB, ¿no? Nos van a dar resultados del PIB el 28 o el 26, no me acuerdo. Los van a dar y va a ser muy alto ese PIB. Y todo el mundo va a decir, Estados Unidos está en la época del renacimiento de Estados Unidos. Y todo se va a ir para arriba explosivamente. Aquí es donde yo pienso que sí, Bitcoin puede tocar esos 150 tan míticos. La parte alta de la zona azul está en 170,000. No sé si tengamos suficiente fuego para ello, pero 150 empieza a sonar más y más realista para esta cosa. Ok, con eso dicho, vamos a la de 2 semanas. En la de 2 semanas, tío, también tenemos un objetivo de $114,000 en la parte alta de la zona azul. Estamos muy por encima del promedio del 9, muy por encima del 5, muy por encima de la media. Todo nos está diciendo que deberíamos ir a tocar esos 114 y después de los 114 una alta probabilidad. Pueden ver que siempre en esta de 2 semanas le gusta irse hasta el 70 y tantos por ciento, pero no lo voy a contar solo el 61.8%, $132,000. El 78% está en $158,000. Una absoluta locura. Además, tenemos volatilidad preparando un setup estilo Jamás. Podría ser Nagasaki. Jamás es a la alza, Nagasaki es a la baja. Por ahora lo que podemos ver es que estamos por debajo del promedio, bueno, estamos por encima del promedio, debajo del 15%, empezando a apuntar para arriba y lo que estamos esperando literalmente es que esto suba por acá y empiece a jalar. Una vez que veamos eso y que veamos al precio yendo en la misma dirección, bueno, en la dirección que vaya, esto va a ser un movimiento literalmente de 35% mínimo. ¿Dónde nos pone 35% mínimo para arriba o para abajo de donde estamos el día de hoy? 35% nos pone justamente en los $150,000, no puede ser. Y para abajo nos pone en los $71,000 con un bajo más bajo. Así que interesante las dos probabilidades que nos presenta este setup de volatilidad en la de 2 semanas. Vamos a la semanal, por supuesto, para arruinar todo. La semanal no tiene, bueno, la semanal ya tiene el setup de volatilidad, nos lo está dando en este subidongo. Y además de este subidongo, la volatilidad continúa para arriba, pero está ahora yéndose de lado. Vamos a mantener los ojos bien pelados por acá, asegurarnos que la volatilidad no baje. Pero por ahora lo que tiene cara es que va a intentar expandir. Se va a ir a los 113. De los 113, siguiente objetivo, el 61.8% es lo que más probabilidades tiene de ser tocados. Y eso está en 126,673. ¡Qué mamada! Vamos a la de 5 días, muy parecida a la semanal, por supuesto, pero esto es Cryptocurrency Land. Aquí es donde está el setup totalmente listo para todos. Estamos por encima de la media. Eso nos debería llevar a los $121,000, damas y caballeros. Así es. $121,000. Tenemos la media justamente por debajo, siendo el soporte, y parece que va a ser el resorte perfecto, a menos de que nos rechace. Si nos rechaza el movimiento sería casi a los $100,000, si es que los 105,400 no aguantan. Diaria. En la diaria también tenemos un setup de volatilidad, lo pueden ver por acá. Justamente ya habíamos hecho el gran subidongo con este setup de volatilidad. ¡Plup! Este movimiento y ahora estamos ante el 50%. De poder romper el 111, 183, nos va a dar ya el objetivo de los 113,000 y eso nos debería llevar fácilmente a los 118 y empieza a volverse real la profecía. Voy a quitar esto y se las voy a poner sencilla a todos ustedes en esta tabla diaria. Pueden ver este soporte aguantó perfecto. Esto fue un tremendo SFP. ¿Qué es un SFP? Para todos los que tal vez no entiendan ese criptolingo tan delicioso, es básicamente un breakout o breakdown falso. cuando literalmente solamente vino a tomar liquidez, se regresó y todo el mundo se tragó que ya iba a caer Bitcoin y no cayó y simplemente hizo esto. Lo que está haciendo es toda esta gente que se metió en long desde acá atrás, se la pela porque bajó hasta acá. Es una mamada. Y todo el mercado hace lo mismo también, por cierto. No es como que uno sí y uno no. Impresionante. Entonces tenemos nuestro cero de volatilidad también. Espectacular. Ahora, ¿qué es lo que estamos esperando? ¿Qué es lo que estamos viendo? Bien, seguimos en tendencia alcista. Lo que estamos viendo ahora es vamos a ir a romper este máximo que fue en los 112,000 planos. Lo tengo en esta tabla. Ya saben que varía de acuerdo a qué tabla estén viendo, etcétera. En los 112. Vamos a probablemente romper eso. Cualquier retroceso hasta los 109,300 sería normal dentro de este movimiento a corto plazo para continuar a la alza. Más allá de esto, estaríamos equivocados de que vamos a continuar a la alza, aunque momentum y además todas las divergencias alcistas que nos dan continuación para la alza están en juego en este momento en casi todas las temporalidades y también tenemos setups de volatilidad preparados en todos lados, por lo que algo nos está diciendo que esto va a reventar para arriba. Y de reventar para arriba tenemos objetivos, primero, por ahí de los 113, 114, después 118 a 120. Esperamos consolidar en esa zona antes de que dé el siguiente chingadazo hasta los $150,000. Esta idea está equivocada si perdemos los $100,000, justamente este wick. Si llegamos a quitar y barrer este wick en los 103, en los 100, espérame, aquí está, justamente, en los 100,377, toda esta idea está mal y vamos muy probablemente a continuar para abajo. Y si no aguantan los 94, que está justamente acá, eso quiere decir que esto fue todo y vamos para abajo probablemente por ahí de los 71,000. Pero todo favorece mucho más el escenario de la alza y es lo que parece que se está dando en este momento. Sobre todo cuando voltamos a ver la dominancia de Tether y Tether literalmente está del otro lado en esto. Pueden ver que viene en caída libre y ahora, ¿qué es lo que queremos si somos alcistas? Que Tether pierda los 4.36%. Tenemos cruce plateado a la baja, por supuesto, desde acá en la, ¿cómo se llama? En la diaria, pero también Tether tiene un setup de volatilidad en lo que está cayendo, lo que nos dice que va a haber continuación por ahí y puedes ver que Tether ha estado haciendo altos más bajos, rechazo del promedio de los 200, además de esta deliciosa línea meme que había puesto que ni siquiera me había dado cuenta hasta ahora. Y continuamos para abajo. Nuestro siguiente objetivo es romper 435 y de ahí nos encantaría ver que nos lleváramos el 371. En la semanal también tienes un setup de volatilidad en Tether que está apoyando este movimiento a la baja hasta el momento, junto con momentum a la baja y divergencias bajistas en casi todas sus temporalidades. La dominancia de Bitcoin, tal cual la sorpresa que Raoul Pal no tenía razón de que iba a ser, ¿cómo se llama? All season. ¿Quién lo fuera a ver venir, no? ¿Quién? Continúa la alza. Está creando más estructura alcista, creas este mínimo que es un mínimo más alto que el pasado y ahora deberías ir a buscar un alto más alto que el pasado en los 65%, lo que pone la dominancia de Bitcoin y pueden ver la fuerza que lleva, ¿no? Esta es una tabla semanal, además de que en la semanal nos está preparando un setup de volatilidad tremendo. Esto quiere decir que Bitcoin va a reventar a la alza todavía más y que tus altcoins favoritas no van a tener ese gran momento que te prometieron otra vez hace un mes y que todo el mundo sigue prometiendo y todos siguen cayendo. Todavía no, hasta que haya tanto dinero gratis que nadie pueda hacer nada con él y tengan que tirarlo en fotografías de mono como el tío Salo, porque a veces eso pasa. Pero bueno, ahí lo tienes, dominancia de Bitcoin y también interesante con el par del dólar. Pueden ver que el dólar está acá. Quiero ver ese momento donde todo el mundo me va a escribir en X y me diga, güey, qué pendejo eres, te equivocaste. Ese va a ser mi capitulación acá y esa capitulación va a venir acompañada del blow off top de Bitcoin, en mi opinión, y también de todo el riesgo junto con Nvidia y todas estas otras empresas. Solamis le está yendo poca madre. Lo que yo diría es, ese resultado de GDP va a ser probablemente el tope del tope. Ahí es donde yo, bueno, este movimiento es donde yo tengo mis apuestas. Vamos a ver si es cierto. El peso también me está ayudando un poco por acá, dando la razón al movimiento, tal cual lo tenía dibujadito por acá. Así que todo esto está jugando de acuerdo al manual del tío Salo. No entiendo por qué vergas, pero lo voy a tomar. Lo voy a tomar. Aparentemente sí he aprendido de estos dos cracks. Así que vamos a analizar el SP500, damas y caballeros, me parece que es. that the S&P 500? Yes, sir.
Very nice. Yeah, and we'll look at the S&P 500. This is ES1 futures. More
Well, same
volume.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, same shit though. It is true. So where are we? So indices are looking great. I mean, we had a breakout yesterday. We had a throwback today. Not really looking too bearish. We have, I don't know why I keep doing that. We have volatility. What didn't give us a setup, but it is above the moving average, creeping up, slightly under 50%, but definitely could hit 50%. Implications for a move up to 6,153, in my opinion. This is a new range. As long as we're holding above 6,012, we should see this range play out. And so when you're at the bottom of the range, you should go to the top. 6,150 remains a big zone for ES1. HBDR and ES1 is interesting because we're actually in a breakout, and this throwback was just that. I mean, you almost hit the meme line, but most importantly, the 38.2% held, and it's actually slingshotting this up. Markets today have a really good chance of expanding across the board now. Granted, you're right, there's no crazy headlines, but just on a technical basis, everything's looking great. Solid uptrend above the median, above the 9, held and reclaiming above these wick heights resistance, flipped into support. Yeah, this is looking primed for 6,150. As long as we're holding above 6,000 now. 6,012 remains the spot. Now we have a big weekly incoming. We want to see if the weekly can actually reclaim back above 6,012, because what you're noticing is for the past few weeks, we've been caught under it as resistance. So we actually haven't reclaimed it. This still has 2 days to go. Very well could reject. But 6,012, if we get the reclaim on the weekly, bulls are looking for any move down as an opportunity, leading to 6,150. You can just see here, when we do hold above 6,012, you do get a free move up to 6,150. It worked out beautifully in this week. And then here as well. And then here you went up, up, down, opened, massive candle up, rejected, and then broke down, losing 6,012. So that's why 6,012 is going to remain the big spot. But for me, this is like an easy long if we get the weekly back above it. Holding it, using your stop here would make a lot of sense. So that is ES1. It's very simple. I mean, you even see the weekly 9 and 21 are crossing. Volatility is at almost extremes, potentially giving us a double derp. But we want to see, because we've seen this easily hit extremes before and stay there for multiple sessions. So like I've been saying, though, the objective now for bulls on the monthly is an all-time high. Am I surprised now that 6,150 is the next objective? Absolutely not. And the implication there has to be an all-time high, because what we had was a pretty violent trend shift here on the monthly. So we've just been moving up. We absolutely don't want to see a rollover here, producing like almost like a double top. We just need to see a new all-time high, preferably 6,150 being flipped into support. And then we can really start talking about going up to 6,400. That's the spot for me. The Academy has a long posted just for this exact scenario. We're going to take it to levels up until like 6,300. But as long as we're holding now above 6,012, we should start seeing ES1 move up, nicely. And the reaction today, we just need to start seeing dailies hold above this and start breaking out, leading to a nice weekly. So that's all what I have on ES1. We can now go to, do I have anything different on here? No, same shit. Like Alejandro said, nice reclaim of support. Should be ready for busting action. The index here, what we see is a nice reclaim of support. Now it's within this range. This range is important. We saw it hold here in February, leading to that March stump. But what we see is an actual breakout, a throwback similar to ES1. This is ready for upside. We do see volatility did give us a setup here. I can easily represent that. Whenever you get BBWP under 15%, you do get a volatility setup. This is on the daily. This is primed for a move up now. As long as we're holding above 21,875. This should move up at very minimum to 22,140. Break 22,140. You should start moving up. Yeah, this will then make a new high. 22,500 to 22,800 is a real possibility. When we start shifting gears and seeing the monthly 19 days until this closes, you get a target up to 23,100. That would be the median. You also see monthly volatility is now giving us a setup. Volatility is starting to plateau here. This is a really prime to start moving up, actually. And at minimum, you'd get a target up to the median. Reclaim the median, you'd start seeing this 38.2% get tested. It's right around 24,400. So you're playing within big levels here. It makes sense. Lower time frame traders are going to be trying to catch this. From current price point, it's almost a 5% move. So that's pretty massive in regards to like the indices. Got to watch this carefully because this is really looking primed. Now, we very easily could consolidate here. But even so, what you're seeing is the 88.3% is right at that 22,140 level. Excuse me. If we actually break this, which would make sense, you're breaking this all-time high, you'd get a nice move up to that 23,200. So, I mean, a pretty big gap up. You also see, though, this easily could do another double derp on volatility, meaning, it actually hits extremes and then starts rolling over. But the implications would mean that, the indices actually go up a little bit more. Weekly is very bullish. I mean, back above the weekly median, actually in a weekly breakout. Only thing holding us now are these all-time highs. Once you start flipping weekly closures back above, specifically February 18th all-time high, it's game on. I mean, you're going to really start seeing this breakout. This is actually looking a lot better than ES1, in my opinion. And that's just based on, if we go here, what was it, the weekly? No. Why is it looking better? It's just more volatile, I guess. That's just it. I'm more degenerate, so it looks, the levels I like it more. Both are looking highly similar, both in weekly breakouts, though. What I like, though, more about this is we actually got a volatility setup. What was it on? Because I know ES1 didn't give us that. Yeah, it was this. So this makes me a lot more confident because you're getting a volatility setup on the higher time frames while supported on a daily. This is a lot easier than like ES1 because ES1 has higher time frame volatility setups, but you didn't really get one on a daily. So, I mean, bullish, great, has momentum, but this is a lot easier to trade. Really to the book here. The long trigger is basically 21,900. As long as we're holding above there, you should be using your stop on this candle low. You want the daily 9 to move above this candle low, giving you more confidence that your stop loss won't get run. But like what we've seen on Bitcoin, the throwback could already be in. You start really gauging the lower time frames now. I mean, it looks like it's in to me. Yeah, you didn't fully hit it. This is a meme line now. You could easily just draw another one here and say, oh, look, the throwback's in. That's why they're really, kind of up to interpretation. But what it looks like to me is the hourly 9 got tested. This was a nice spring. We have an insane hammerhead on the hourly. Again, just good reason on why this should start moving up to 22,150. Let's go to the 4-hour. And even on the hourly, you have a volatility setup. 4-hour looks absolutely nice. Let's get the rainbow chart off. Beautiful reclaim, throwback, volatility on the 4-hour is primed. We're now expanding. I mean, let's just check this out. Don't even think I looked at the 4-hour. This looks insanely nice as well on ES1 with multiple session lows at zero volatility on the 4-hour. What does this look like? Oh, wow. And this is in breakout. So it seems like the Academy long around here was smart. I'm unsure if it got filled out to look. Because when I'm going into this morning, I see Bitcoin and ES1 all right around similar levels. I mean, to me, it just seemed like the daily really did want to, hold this breakout And that's why even when we were reviewing Bitcoin, all markets kind of seem like it just kind of put in lower time frame throwbacks. Like here, when we gauge this one, literally it's just a small detail. You had a breakout, a back test, expansion. It's very similar to here, a breakout, back test, expansion. So markets now are primed. You really don't want to start seeing these meme line supports, specifically on NDQ 21,900. You don't want to get lost on ES1. You absolutely don't want 6,012 to get lost. And on Bitcoin now, you don't want 109.3 to get lost. If all those can hold, though, going into today's close, it's looking like markets are primed for a nice breakout. Dow Jones we can look at now. And what do we see? Well, it actually is showing us that this is in breakout mode. Just per how I'm looking at the meme lines, at least. You're above the SMA 200 now. When you broke out from here, this was interesting because you had retested with the daily 9, and then from there you've just been breaking out. So again, real subjective how you draw these. You could have literally drawn it like this and then said, oh, look, it's a throwback. I always do it from the highest point, the wick high. I did it from this point. But the daily 9, that's why I'm always saying just trading off meme lines isn't often enough. Because you would have closed your long here, been chopped out. You would have been concerned on the SMA 200 loss, but still hopeful on the daily 9 holding. And so now what we see with Dow Jones is this is looking like it's breaking out. I mean, we can get a next objective here going to the weekly. And it's very obvious. So we'll do this. We'll look up. We'll take this and we'll see that. Reconnect with the wick. And now what you're seeing is we have resistance, support, expansion, lost, resistance, dump. Very simple. And so now next objective here should be 43,330. If we can reclaim back above 43,330, that's when all-time high comes into play. Then we can actually start, testing around 44,500 to 44,600 essentially. But for me now, we want to start seeing this move up to 43,300. Preferably by the weekend. And if you get a weekly closure above that, that'll be really big for me. Last time that occurred, we in the next week moved up 2.5% to the next objective being 44,500. So markets are cooking up as a whole. And it's nice because it seems like Forex as well is cooking up. So it's kind of nice that we're just seeing markets, finally get fun off the back of today. Very strong monthly. You see here the monthly 9 moved directly where this channel was on the lower time frames, leading to a nice move up. So again, same thing across the board on all indices. Objective is just all-time high. You just got to break, and I'll draw another line here, right here, this red line. Right, high, boom, lower high, lower low, gotta break this high. 45,000 is the objective. You're gonna have levels though, right? So it's like 43.3, reclaim that on a weekly, easy move up to 44.5 to possibly 45,000. So indices as a whole, no matter which one you're looking at, are looking great. We're seeing now volatility specifically on NDQ start expanding up. ES1 is actually in breakout mode on HBDR. Let's look at Dow Jones real quick. So it's actually today potentially going to be in a breakout. Confirmed once we close above the 38.2% at $43,000 essentially. This is going to be really key to see because the indices in breakout mode has implications for Bitcoin, has implications for NVIDIA, Apple, Coinbase. You want all these things to look bullish. So that way we can keep the bullish momentum, obviously. For me on Dow Jones, you're bullish as long as you're above the SMA 200. For NDQ, you're bullish as long as you're above the daily 9. NDS1, you're bullish as long as you're above 6,012. So as long as you have all those three things you're above, that's great. You have trades, and it's just playing the levels that each chart's giving you. But overall, markets are happy. and it seems like bearish Dixie's boding well for risk. And as we've been saying, Dixie can come down a little bit more. We'll have to really gauge the next monthly and 2-week on Forex, because that's going to be really important. But if we came down a little bit more, I'd be then confident to say that probably a bottom's very close on the dollar. So I'd just be very aware of that. But it doesn't mean that markets and risk can't have fun. Kind of like what Alejandro was saying right before the GDP numbers as well. But as it stands, markets, indices are breaking out. So it's definitely not dumb to be aggressive. Watch the dailies, watch the 4 hours, and watch the 12 hours. But yeah, this is looking quite primed. I like ES1 personally. And so this is what the Academy's trading. The trade's logically based on the throwback here, possibly is already in. But I was just looking at this hourly, coming down aggressively, hitting the 21, putting in bullish structure, holding the median. This just made it very easy in validation. But if you end up on the hourly sweeping these lows, watch 6012. This should be the zone. Hourly EMA 100's right at that point. But yeah, no, the Academy is long. I don't know where, but somewhere around this level. So yeah, and our stop is very easy. It's just under 6,000. Yeah, that's all I have on indices. All looking the same now. I mean, just pick your poison. All breaking out.
That they are. There it is. That they are. Yeah, I mean, everything looks very bullish right now overall. It's hard to find a chart that says something else. Holy shit. Oh, close at $65.
Wow. Oh,
wow. What a
You know
god candle.
look at that weekly 9 holding. Damn.
1 second.
Is that the 5 or the 9?
That's a 5, dude.
Never mind. It's extremely strong. Damn.
It's just a cool 620% so far for
Not
yours
bad.
truly.
Very tranquilo.
Under a year too.
Not bad. Holy fucking shit. There's a dude named Michael Guyett on X. He talks about like the economy all the time. I think he
I know him. He's a massive fag.
he manages an ETF and whatnot. And he's always saying that Japan is going to blow up the world and whatnot. And he kept saying, what would be good for whenever they do, when they deregulate shit, right? When they remove all regulation, then what's going to be good? And he just kept talking about it. So I was like, this is interesting because he's going in the right way, but he's talking about carbon and all this shit. I was like, go look at Oklo, dude. Like, go look at all these mini reactor nuclear plays. That's going to be it. Like the whole thing about the idea of deregulation is really just meant for the crypto bros. Like right now, you want to build a house in LA, you can't build fucking shit. Okay. It's bullshit. The only thing they really are deregulating on the big, beautiful bill is AI and anything related to AI, just so that everyone understands where the states for 10 years cannot regulate it. And that is deregulation. So I was like, dude, look at Oakland and whatnot. And yesterday he launched an ETF that is based on carbon and all these alternative energies. I was like, no, what are you doing? It's right here. And now look at this beauty. Excellent. Fucking amazing. Unreal. That's
I'm trying
so
to eat
funny.
my concha, and these cats are.
So you
harassing
can't
me.
feed your animals in that way, because otherwise they'll always beg like that.
Please stop. Please stop.
Too late. It's too late. You
Yeah,
fucked
you
up,
feel
sir.
Yeah, they start begging.
Yep. It's like the homeless. You just give them money and they're going to show up more and more. And then they're going to yell at you and scream and probably shit their pants while they're doing all of those things with you.
You
Crazy
goddamn
stuff.
Loch Ness monster. I ain't giving you no 350.
I'm not giving you nothing. I'm going to give Mr. Fine, I need more money. You got some change. One of the greatest South Park episodes of all time. Anyways, let's go. Ataquemos esta tabla, el SP500, damas y caballeros. Alcista de madre, que habíamos dicho cuando Bitcoin logró hacer un alto histórico de nuevo, regresando después de que todo el mundo nos vendió la no correlación entre Bitcoin y los mercados tradicionales. Bitcoin fue a hacer un alto histórico. ¿Y qué fue lo que dijimos después? Que la narrativa más tonta del planeta es que los mercados se descorrelacionaron de Bitcoin y ahí va. El SP500 va atrás. Esto quiere decir que lo primero que voy a esperar a topar es Bitcoin. Bitcoin probablemente vaya a ser el primer techo en el pecho. Y después el mercado tradicional, como pueden ver que se está llevando un poco más de tiempo en poder lograr ese alto histórico, pero normalmente es lo que esperaríamos en cualquier tipo de estos movimientos con índices, porque no son explosivos como Bitcoin, aunque Dow Jones, explosivo, pueden ver una vez retomando, Dow Jones se ve primado, lo estamos viendo en la semanal, pero el SP500 por ahora, me preguntaba Ramón, estamos en corto, el corto del SP500 era para no pasar de este máximo, me parece. Si ahora estás en corto, yo me saldría, vas a hacer máximos históricos. Aquí arriba te va a dar otra oportunidad de hacer otro corto, si es que quieres. La cosa es, vas a pelearte contra momentum y probablemente, volatilidad. Bueno, sí puedo hacer un doble techo de volatilidad. Te vas a pelear con momentum acá. Ya viste que esta era la línea a no poder romper. Tuvimos un breakout, tenemos el promedio del 5. Un retroceso al 5,900 sería algo bastante tranquilo, normal, para después explotar a la alza, pero puede que ya lo hayamos hecho justamente acá con esta vela. Si ese es el caso, es lo que ya estamos viendo. Por ahora, nuestro bias se va a, esto va a ser un alto histórico, pero si quieres jugarle al Riata, puedes hacerlo ante el alto de esta vela, el máximo histórico. Y recuerda, lo que estás buscando aquí en la primera reacción cuando llegue, no es el short de tu vida que se vaya a caer el mercado. Lo primero que harías si estás metido en un corto acá arriba es simplemente meter muchísimo apalancamiento, ponerlo lo más cerca posible acá, con no mucho dinero, no todo tu portafolio. Viene el corto, tienes una invalidación súper apretada, lo toca y tiene que haber un rebote. Tiene que. Si no lo hay, pues ya te sales, perdiste tantito dinero, pero lo tuviste bien medido. Es la idea. Por ahora, la idea del long sería cualquier retroceso a los 5,970 hasta los 5,900. Sería una excelente idea para poder aprovechar una vez más y subirte al barco, aunque esto tiene cara de que pronto va a llegar a esos máximos históricos una vez más. Vamos a ponerlo rápido para que lo vean un poco más de lejos. En la mensual pueden ver esa vela. Esta es una de las velas más alcistas que he visto en mi vida. Si las velas toperas son así, pero al revés, esta es una vela fondera, pero al revés, muy dura y nos está impulsando hasta acá a tener, esta es la vela con el cierre más alto de toda la historia hasta ahora mensual en el SP500 y está en 6,057 en este momento. Obviamente faltan 19, 16 horas para cerrar el mes, pero pueden ver lo bien que se ve. En la semanal con el HPDR, también podemos ver que estamos empezando a encontrarnos por acá con el 88.3%. Esto nos dice que estamos cerca de topar. Ahora, ¿el SP500 va a tener un blow off top como Bitcoin, etcétera? Yo creo que sí, pero no tan agresivo. Yo creo que el de Bitcoin siempre es mucho más agresivo porque es 3 veces más la volatilidad que el Nasdaq y el Nasdaq es más volátil que el mismísimo SP500. Así que esto viene para acá. Una vez que podamos romper los 6,111, vamos a tener probabilidades de los 6,400. ¿Será ese nuestro tope en blow off top? Podría ser, podría ser. 6,700 está aquí arriba. Vamos a ver qué exactamente. Para invalidar cualquiera de esas ideas, lo único que tendríamos que hacer es cerrar por debajo de 5,748 a la baja. Rápidamente les pongo el Nasdaq. Nasdaq, igual, estamos en esta zona en la semanal en el 88.2%. Queremos romper por acá. El Nasdaq está mucho más cerca de tocar altos históricos. Está a nada, literalmente. El máximo histórico en el Nasdaq son 22,222. Estamos cotizando en 22,017. Esto puede tocar acá, puede venirse y de poder romper el 88%, podríamos visitar el 95 en los 23,242. Los 23,229, disculpen. Y eso nos catapultaría todavía a probablemente consolidar y dar continuación, aunque veremos eso exactamente. Ahora, el Russell 2000, importante, esto no me acuerdo por qué lo subrayé, también está en la misma zona de el 88%, pero aquí no tengo yo tanta fe. Yo creo que el Russell 2000 para hacer un nuevo máximo histórico le va a costar bastante trabajo. Yo creo que esto podría topar por ahí de los 2,324. ¿Por qué? El Russell 2000 son las 2,000 empresas chicas grandes que cotizan públicas en Estados Unidos. Y empresas chicas están desapareciendo por completo ante las grandes. Están siendo las medianas y chicas, las están destruyendo las grandes, porque las grandes pueden hacer todo lo que todas las demás y además más eficientes y tienen más dinero. Entonces, este índice, personalmente yo creo que vamos a encontrar un tope por acá. Por ahora, nuestro siguiente objetivo van a ser el tope de estas velas, por supuesto, el 2326, porque está rompiendo una zona importante. Y justamente yo me atrevería a poner mi línea meme acá, donde va a encontrar un poco de fricción el precio. Es más, ahora que la veo, divino. Oye, qué bonito, Alejandro. Sí, si podemos romper esta zona de los 2776 y empezar a cerrar por encima, tendríamos posibilidades de ir a alto histórico. No, ahora, no te estoy diciendo una vez más garantizado que no lo hacemos, pero me va a costar trabajo entender cómo el Russell 2000 podría hacer eso en estos momentos. Por ahora el dólar nos está dando un poco de lo que estamos buscando junto con lo demás de Forex. Muy interesante. Vamos a ver, Rivian, damas y caballeros, eso es el SP500. Por ahora, largos, de nuevo. Si andas en corto, tal vez no sería la mejor posición. Andar en corto aquí arriba sería mucha mejor idea. Ahora, nadie está diciendo que va a funcionar, pero puede esperar un rebote, reacción de precios, y que es una de las apuestas chicas. A mí me gusta meter apuestillas por aquí y por allá, porque también no hay tantos trades diarios que puedas hacer, y no veo por qué no. Vamos a ver Rivian con el buen Farhan, que nos cuente cómo va, pero básicamente de acuerdo al plan, todo perfecto. Y ahora va en su segunda pata para arriba, damas y caballeros. Vamos a ver, Mr. Farhan, throw me that chart.
We will start with 2 weeks because not much data from my HPDR. So right now on the 2 week, we are getting momentum, still pointing to the upside. We got now 2 closures in the bullish control zone, with volatility still expanding, and Jewel is now also giving us two periods of buy signal on Jewel. So our next resistance zone is somewhere around this $15 zone. If we can get over there, that should give us basically a free move to this meme line at around like $16.35. But based off of our EMAs, our major EMAs that were above our 5, our 9, and 21, our move would be logically to the 55. And the 55 is sitting just below $18 at $17.86. But if you notice, our momentum is already at 72%. So it is likely going to be topped out before we get to that 55 EMA. So what's more likely to happen is something like this. We tap this meme line, reject, tap it again, and then probably reject, break the low that you made right there, and then that time break it and go to the 55 EMA. And based off of this 2-week trend, that very likely is just going to result in a lower high and probably going to end up breaking these lows. On the monthly is also not really taking out any major lower highs just yet. It should be looked at as bearish as long as it's closing monthlies below basically about $18. Weekly is starting to point down on momentum, still in the bullish control zone, but probably in one more close it's going to break out of the bullish control zone. Well, volatility, however, is resetting, so that is some bullish opium. And it's now putting in a possible hidden bullish divergence with momentum dropping below all of these lows. And it's very close to a weekly silver cross to the upside. Probably 1 or 2 maximum more closures, likely 1, as long as you're closing over about $13.65. This is very likely going to cross. And if that does cross, that should give you a nice move up. Probably somewhere over this 100, taking you somewhere around like $17-ish to $18. That would make it highly possible that that monthly could reverse. Five days already starting to flip back up on momentum. Volatility is now also supporting it. And we did indeed put in hidden bullish divergence on the 5-day. It will confirm with a close over about $15.69. It's a very nice number, and that likely takes us over $17 towards $18. 2-day is currently flipped to the downside with volatility expanding. Interesting, and we're about to lose at 38.2%. It is at 1443. If we do lose that, probably going to break these lows, come somewhere around the 200. But as long as we are over the 200, we should expect it to hold. And what's nice is the 200 lines up beautifully with all of these other EMAs, the 55 and the 100. So we have the 200, the 55, and the 100. We have some very significant EMAs over here. Very likely this area is going to hold. If you start to lose this area, then the significance of losing those EMAs means you're likely going to break these lows at $10 and go some significantly new lows. Although I don't think that's going to happen. I think this area is going to hold probably and eventually move up to this 38.2%. But as of right now, we haven't lost the 38.2% yet. As long as we're holding this 38.2%, we're not even likely to test these EMAs. We're more likely to just go straight up. Only if we lose this 38.2% is when we're going to test these EMAs. And our daily is starting to flip back up, making it a little bit less likely we're going to test those EMAs on the 2-day, with volatility very close to an expansion phase. We are currently rejecting the 38.2%, so once we lose this 9 EMA, we're likely to come to the median. But as long as we're above this 9, more likely that we're going to continue to retest this 38.2%. And the jewel is now giving us a buy signal. Also, more on the side of that, we continue to hold this area and then we get a retest of this 38.2% and then break it on the next attempt. 4 hours now making into the bullish control zone on momentum. Interesting, with volatility expanding and a buy signal. As long as we're holding this above this 55 EMA and this wick low to be exact, more likely we're going to continue to the upside. Start to lose this wick low, then we're going to get a deeper pullback towards like $14. Monthly on Rivian has bullish divergence 1, 2, 3, 4 drives of bullish divergence on the monthly. Interesting. That would give you a target of the critical zone, which currently is at about $32. Oh, it lines right up with the 21 EMA on the monthly too. Wow, beautiful. And that is more than a 100% move on well, not $32. I'm a retard. 32 is this meme line. 32, the 21 EMA is at $16. 32 is also the bullish control zone. That's what I mean. Two-week has hit 3 drives of hidden bearish divergence. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And that is going to be active as long as you're closing below about 17.15. So if you do get that move to $18, I would invalidate this hidden bearish divergence. And if you can invalidate this hidden bearish divergence, big if, that's going to give you a target of the bullish control zone. that is currently at about $21. That's a 50% move from where we are right now. You just need to get a close over about $17.15 and you can get that. Five-day also currently has bearish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing below same number, $17.15. And if it continues on the divergence, your next target is the simple moving average at about 1135. Some bullish hopium. Daily currently has active hidden bullish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing over about $13.61. And your next move is into the simple moving average, which currently is at about just below $16 at $15.92. Volatility is pretty low, so you could probably make it to the bullish control zone, which currently is a beautiful $18 number. And 4 currently has bullish divergence also. This is going to be active as long as you're above $14.30. And your next move is into the critical zone, which is currently at about $16.45. And we've got very low volatility. Monthly momentum is pointed nicely to the upside as long as you're above $11.94. And there's no possibility of bearish divergence because you're above all of these highs on momentum. But actually, there is Have you closed over one of these wick highs yet? Let's see. Nope. So there's still this possibility of hidden bearish divergence as long as you are closing below about $14.80. And that will confirm with a closure below 1252. So as long as you're below 1480, there is a possibility of confirming the bearish divergence below 1252. But momentum is less likely because momentum is pointed up currently above 1194.
It's basically where the price is right now. So if it just goes a little bit up in the next 20 days, basically, it's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it should.
2 days currently getting a nice volatility expansion right at that 15% level. It's a nice little touch and go. And momentum is currently pointed up above $12.52. That's more toward more points in the bull side. And you're getting a nice little volatility set up with momentum pointed up, and the pivot is pretty low. Weekly is currently flipping freshly to the downside, but volatility is contracting, so not much to worry about. And momentum is pointed down below 1635, and we're getting a nice move to our EMAs right when we're about to get a silver cross. 5 days is currently flipped up, but it will flip down in about 5 hours if we close below $15.17. Bull's got 5 hours left to pump the price about 70 cents. 2 days currently flipped down with volatility contracting, and it will be flipped down below 1595. Projection is to on this next open, we're going to make it closer to the edge of the bearish control zone, not quite to the edge. If this blue one plays out, that will be right at the edge of the bearish control zone, and then at that point, the pivot should go down based off of the weekly silver cross. And now the daily has already turned to the upside. It's firstly to the upside, and it's going to remain up above 1382, making it a lot more likely that this daily pivot, this 2-day pivot, is going to go down.
Fucking better. Just kidding.
Fingers crossed, inshallah. 4 hours now got that full reset on volatility, and we're very close to getting expansion. Now we're getting right over that moving average, and momentum is pointed up above $13.80. Kind of looks like we're about to break towards that $18 area. So on the monthly, momentum is now nicely pointed to the upside, and very close to invalidating the possibility of that hidden bearish divergence. It pretty likely it will invalidate, considering that momentum is pointed to the upside and the pivot is so far below price action right now. Our first resistance point is going to be somewhere around that $17 area, which is $16 to $17 area, which lines up with our monthly 21 EMA. But momentum being up on every single one of our time frames does look like we're going to get a move from here into somewhere around that $18 area. And if we can get weekly closures over about $18, then it is very likely that we're going to continue upwards to test that bullish control zone on the RSI divergence, which is sitting at about $32, and that's more than a 100% move from where we are. Where we are right now. Pretty wild, but we'd still be in a macro downtrend as long as you're below about the last major lower high, about $41. So if you can consolidate somewhere between 32 and 41, that would be long-term macro bullish, and then you can expect to move back to all-time highs. But until then, you just have to assume that the downtrend is going to remain, but you do have targets higher, and those are very, very tradable moves. Because even a move to $18 from here is a good percentage up, and a move for $32 is more than 100%. So no need to get greedy. Just collect those moves and call it a day. Right now, I am leaning towards upside, and the invalidation of that is getting any weekly closures below about $12. If you're going to get that, then you're probably going to break down and go below $9. Right now, I'm thinking we're probably going to break EU.
It has all of the properties of a breakout, sir, if I know the elements of one. And I don't. But that's what they keep telling me, and that's what you're saying. So that's what I'm conveying to everyone. Let's go. Alex, we're doing Tesla after.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Ok. Estamos viendo Rivian, por supuesto. Se los va a poner rápido en la mensual. Y como siempre, vamos a abrir esto entendiendo que estamos en una tendencia bajista desde que abrimos y llegamos a los $180. Pobre de la gente que compró ahí. Dios los bendiga. Como diría su abuelita, pero por ahora vamos a analizar la tabla mensual. Estamos siendo altos más bajos todo este camino hasta acá. Empezamos una vez más a tener el hopium de que hay una reversión por fin de este alto. Estamos logrando este y el siguiente a llevarnos va a ser justamente este en los 18.85 más o menos para Rivian. Ahora, si lo volteamos a ver en la mensual, ¿qué es lo que podemos ver en la mensual? En la mensual estamos perfectamente bien posicionados. Fuimos a retestear el promedio del 21 que se encuentra en los 16.28. Después de retestearlo nos dio un rechazo. Esta no es una vela topera. ¿Por qué? Porque a diferencia de una vela topera, que sería como esta o esta, la parte gorda de la vela está más arriba del 25% de la parte baja de la vela, por lo que no lo consideraría una vela topera, sino más bien una vela de indecisión y engaño. Esperaría que el rango a no romper sería entre 12.54 a la baja y pesado a romper 17.16 para arriba, pero se va a poder. Por ahora tenemos el breakout de justamente esta zona, apoyándonos casi en el 9. Salimos para arriba, venimos a rebotar a la zona de breakout, que es justamente acá, y esto nos debería dar fuego para poder llegar básicamente a los 18 más para arriba. Yo creo que los 26 están en juego para Rivian en este momento. Por ahora estamos viendo que la volatilidad está cayendo al punto más bajo de toda la historia. Eso nos dice que vamos a ver un movimiento monstruoso para arriba o para abajo. Yo creo que va a ser para arriba. Le voy a dar más razón a ello antes, mínimo que para abajo. Con eso dicho, vamos a poner el HPDR. Y esto está aquí para que entiendan que abajo de esta línea, en los 13.28, si empezamos a cerrar por debajo de eso, olviden todo lo que les estoy diciendo alcista. Es la única cosa que se queda ahí. Pueden ver que estamos por encima de la zona azul, tenemos el breakout, justamente el rechazo del 61.8% y que estamos buscando hacer, poder cerrar por encima de 14.88. Cerrando arriba de 14.88, esto nos impulsaría a retestar el promedio del 21 que se encuentra en los 16.28 y ahí a ver si nos podemos llevar este máximo local en los 17.14. Tiene toda la pinta de que sí, necesita un poco de consolidación, por supuesto. Aunque estas son velas mensuales, entonces el próximo cierre va a ser muy agresivo. Pueden ver cuánto cambió el HPDR de un cierre al siguiente. Entonces no voy a preocuparme tanto porque en la mensual esté aquí. Lo que sí es la de 2 semanas. Esa es la que nos va a empezar a decir porque no hay tantos datos en Rivian. Justamente el 88% se encuentra por acá donde está el promedio del 55, que son los 17.86. Es donde esperaría yo mínimo encontrar fricción más o menos en esta zona. Por ahora estamos retomando el promedio del 34 en la de 2 semanas que está en los 14.31 y eso nos debería de dar aire para retestear esta zona en los $15 y de ahí poder romperla e ir a buscar los 17.15. Definitivamente no queremos perder esta zona, ni tampoco, yo creo los $13 son importantísimos, al igual que los 12. La primera zona de preocupación 13.30 y de ahí si llegas a ver que 12 es otro número que estás viendo, no se ve bien esta cosa, pero por ahora se ve muy bien. Además de esto, en la de 2 semanas tienes un cero de volatilidad del punto más bajo de toda la tabla en la historia y esta volatilidad está pegando ante este velazo verde. Vamos a ver cómo se desarrolla, pero tiene toda la cara de que el 88.6% va a ser el siguiente, 17.17. Sería nuestro siguiente objetivo en la tabla de Rivian. Vamos a la semanal. Semanal podemos ver que volatilidad está contrayendo. Esta línea meme funcionó por alguna razón con volatilidad en el pompazo que vimos antes. Por eso cuando todo el mundo estaba ya va a romper a la alza, dije, va a tener ese retroceso que todo el mundo cree que no va a tener, que siempre tiene. Y ahí está. Tenemos esta vela topera que tiene continuación. Encontramos un nuevo fondo un bajo más alto y eso nos está impulsando para arriba. Además de que muy pronto en la semanal, la próxima sesión o 2, vamos a tener un cruce plateado a la alza y eso nos va a decir que cualquier oportunidad importante va a estar por ahí de los 14, que es donde está el promedio del 9, para poder apostarle a la alza. Esto debería darnos casi un retorno del doble si es que llega a jugar como lo estoy viendo en este momento. Diaria, volatilidad una vez más, cayendo, no al punto más bajo de la tabla, pero aquí lo hemos visto. En la diaria estamos en la zona azul por encima del promedio del 9, lo pueden ver por acá. bastante bien. Cuando estás por encima del promedio del 9 en la zona azul y además de la media, tienes otra oportunidad de venir a retestear la parte alta de la zona azul y de romper los 14.74. El siguiente objetivo debería de ser los 15.40. Lo único que estamos viendo es un poco de consolidación alcista en este momento. Para ponerles la gráfica un poco más sencillo a todos ustedes y que no nos hagamos bolas, estamos literalmente ante una deliciosa tendencia alcista local. Lo podemos ver acá. En abril llegamos al fondo, como todos los abriles de en Rivian. Tenemos el breakout, tenemos el retesteo del promedio del 200 y vámonos. Yo esperaría la que no hemos retesteado es el promedio del 100 después del breakout. Esa sería la oportunidad máxima en los básicamente 13.50. Si llegas ahí y revienta la alza, bien. Si lo pierdes y empiezas a cerrar por debajo del EMA 100 diario, yo diría que, tal vez no estamos tan alcistas como creo. Pero por ahora, todo pinta a que debería de dar continuación y el momentum está apuntando para arriba y posibles divergencias bajistas son eliminadas donde está el precio ahorita o un poquito más arriba, nada, o sea, estamos hablando de nada, por lo que tiene mucha más probabilidad de dar continuación a la alza que darse la vuelta, revertir el movimiento, irse para abajo ahorita, como lo ha hecho una vez más todos los años, ¿no? Todos los años. No sé por qué la gente lo duda. Aquí estamos, ¿no? En marzo, abril del 2025, febrero, abril del 2024, adivinen, abril del 2023. A veces siento que no puede ser tan fácil, pero no sé por qué lo es. Así que ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros. Estamos esperando a ver si Rivian puede poner un bajo más alto. Tenemos este alto más alto y dar continuación a buscar un alto más alto, porque después de un bajo más alto, que podría ser este, deberíamos de ir a buscar un alto más alto local. Ahí lo tienen. Ahí lo tienen, Rivian, bastante bien. Vámonos con Tesla, que ahí lo tiene preparado Alex y listo para todos ustedes.
Nice. Tesla. Let's look at it on the daily, because the daily gives us the easy trade, in my opinion. So what we had was a daily SMA 200 loss of support, rallied back, went short here, lost support again, well, rejected it really. And then here we saw a price divergence and bears not really able to break it much further down. This was a big point for me, and this is why we front ran the close of the shorts right around this region. And that was a good thing, because we actually busted up, reclaimed the EMA 100, SMA 200 meme line, and then resulted in another move up, reclaiming the daily 9. And so now where are we on Tesla? Well, Tesla's an interesting zone, because as long as it's holding above specifically the daily EMA 9 and also $326, it's actually going to be more in consolidation and up mode. Bulls are going to want this kind of scenario. If Tesla's extremely bullish, it should hold support. Daily 9 should connect with it, leading to a move up to the $370 region. We've seen this region perform well on Tesla before, and even here, big dump down, held support, and you moved up to the 370s. And here, it kind of failed. But the point being is that, bulls are going to really try to hold support. For me, though, that's the aggressive play, because, the only logical place for a stop loss is down here. Rather, for me, I'd want to, it's simply, when we lost the SMA 200, this gave us a pretty easy short. So now that we've reclaimed it, I'd actually want to see this get tested again. So if Tesla ends up losing the daily 9, losing support, and coming back down to here, this actually would be quite bullish for me. And this would give us a very easy long opportunity, because you have the long trigger bullish retest after reclaim. And then you can have your stop loss simply here. And if we start losing the daily SMA 200 again, we can quickly close longs and actually flip short. But as long as we're above the daily SMA 200, Tesla is going to be more bullish now. The hopium for bears was that we were going to stay under there and actually dump down. Reclaiming it gives you an SFP play, and this is bullish. Being back above the daily 9 really means that there's not much stopping Tesla from going up to the 370 level. And that's why it will be the aggressive play, just moving up from here. If we start gauging the 4-hour, what you're noticing, and this is what I gave the Academy long based on, is well, you were under all major moving averages on the 4-hour, and now you reclaimed it. If the 4-hour came down, which it almost did, and retest the 34, this should hold, and this low should be the low that should hold for the lower timeframes if this is going to be aggressive and actually expand from 370. You'll know though where this is not going to do that when it actually falls back into the moving averages, losing basically the 21 and the 34 while also meme line support. Until then though, I'm going to be looking at this as just like a shift. We want this to hold before moving up. What was resistance should be support, and that's what I'm going to be gauging. If we start losing, support $326 on a lower time frame, daily SMA 200 is the spot that has to hold. If we start losing this, deviating down, this will really start looking bad for me, because we want to stay above the SMA 200 after you reclaim it. If we go back here and look, when we lost the SMA 200, you went down, support held, and then it should always hold if you're in a bull market. So you reclaimed it. You had the throwback, right? So like the daily 9 didn't hold, support didn't hold. You came down, you actually back tested it, and then that was the opportunity before breaking out. This is exactly what we want to see if that does occur. So, I mean, this is why I said in the Discord, Tesla bulls are going to have two setups, really. You're going to have lower time frame long trigger on this, so you can have your stop here. Because, ideally, we're not going to come back down, test the 4-hour EMA 100. In doing so, we might lose it and then actually get that move down to the low 300s again. Or we just start expanding, indices break out, Bitcoin breaks out, NVIDIA breaks out, leading to Tesla moving up to the 370, totally decimating shorts here. I think even Elon posted a tweet this morning apologizing to Trump. Yeah, I
love that now we count that for like the
What a
market.
bitch move.
No, like now people are like, dude, the market's got clear skies ahead. There's
now
hang on.
The
Hang on.
bromance is back.
Hang on a second. Let me get it. Let me get it right.
There's absolutely tailwinds all the way up because now Elon and Trump are not fighting. And I know you're going to ask, what does that have to do with anything? Well, tailwinds.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Scott.
it. There you go. Tailwinds.
You
You heard it here
Hey,
first, guys.
Can you believe the couple got back together during Pride Month? How beautiful.
Yeah. So like Tesla was showing us bearishness here. But when we really dumped down, it was just off this uncertainty on the tweets. But buying headlines, trading off headlines, it gives you good maybe volatility in the moment, but is it sustainable? And it's not. And this was not. And this was actually just rather an opportunity across the board. And so that's why we have two longs. The Academy is either going to be longing here, playing the 4-hour shift, wanting 370s. And you'll know you're wrong if you just start losing the EMA 34 on the 4-hour. But this should theoretically just be support. Or we're going to go to the daily, and you're going to be more conservative, sit on your hands, wait for the SMA 200 retest, have your stop loss here at 282, cut the trade if you start losing the daily SMA 200. Both are resulting in a move up to 370s. Only wrong on this if you start taking out 280s and losing the daily SMA 200. Until then, though, Tesla's very bullish, and we can look at the HBDR now and see if it shows that, right? And so now what we see is the daily's potentially in the 38.2%. So now we're out of that breakdown mode, right? Bears needed this to be a bearish retest, still could be, but it's actually reclaimed back above the blue zone. Next objective is 346. Reclaim that. You're going up around that 360s, right around my zone at 370. So, I mean, if I'm sitting here being a Tesla bear and I'm reading Elon Musk's tweet and I see the SMA 200 reclaim, and now I see meme line support holding while the shift in structure on the 4-hour, I'd be sweating. I'd be upset. I'd be nervous. this often brews nice short squeezes. And that's why I had to give 2 Tesla trades out today, because I really could see markets expanding, Tesla just green dildoing up, and then we go in for the SMA 200 after 370s is hit. Because it's hard for me to say, yeah, we're just going to go down from here when you're getting closures like this. This is just definition of bullish. I mean, EMA 100 reclaim, 12-hour EMA 9 reclaim. We're back within this range. You see the last time we reclaimed it, we at minimum were able to go up, 6%. This never took out this low here. So really you resulted in that move 10%. And when I look at that, I'm a trader, so I'm like, yeah, this definitely could be a tradable thing on the lower time frames. And then look at that. The hourly here is holding the EMA 100. It's very important. We don't have to gauge the SMA 200 too much on the lower time frame. Some do. I don't. But this EMA 100 on the hourly is definitely a logical long zone. I mean, we dumped, we tapped it, we bottomed. All right, let's keep going. We reclaimed it. We held above. Bull flag expanded. So when you're under the EMA 100 on the hourly, it's not good. Generally is bad. It's resistance. When you're above it, though, that's a very good thing. And so even when we lost it here, look at this. You lost it on the hourly. You just slow grinded, bear flagged, hit the EMA 9 on the hourly. Couldn't even hit the EMA 100 and then bigly dumped. That's why this dump wasn't really that much, it wasn't crazy to me. And then, during this price divergence we talked about, this was the hopium for bulls, and they actually ran with it. So in my head, it's like, as long as you're above 325 now, 326, 370s is the next objective. Again, you'll know if you're wrong, if the 4-hour EMA 34 gets lost, EMA 100 gets lost. Then we can just shift gears to the daily and play the SMA 200 back test, which is shown here. And luckily for us, the EMA 100 on the daily is right around the SMA 200. So it just makes it easy for us. We have a very easy gauge. If Tesla bigly dumps from this point, am I going to be nervous or surprised? Absolutely not. I'm just going to be zooming in. I'm going to say, oh yeah, we reclaimed it, never tested it here. This is the zone to max long Tesla. If we are on the assumption that this is the bottom, and our stops here. So overall, in summary, Tesla's looking quite bullish to me. It's reclaiming all major moving averages. Lower time frames are looking bullish. Daily's looking bullish. Let me see here. What about the weekly? And even weekly's
so nice.
Look bullish. Yeah, I mean, you're even reclaiming backload the weekly 9, just playing into that. This was just more like a bear trap, and that bears now are feeling the heat. Their theses are totally decimating on all time frames. And the next weekly close, which is in 2 days, is going to be pretty important. But what we can gather from this is, even if the weekly closes here, maybe in the next week we wick below 326 and actually test the weekly 9. Again, would not be concerning at all. And that would rather be an opportunity that's coming in right around your back test on the daily. So you have a 4-hour setup today that's very valid to me. Whenever I see the 4-hour get back above all major moving averages, you just visually can see it's nothing but air until 370s. And that's what we're going to play. If this starts getting stopped out, goes below 310, very easy then. We can just long the daily 9. Daily estimate 200. And even the monthly. Was this dump really
Sorry. Did you see the robot taxi driving by itself yesterday in Austin?
No, I think they said something about it being launched in June or something.
It's
June,
over.
July,
They came out yesterday. There's 9 cars they have in Austin going around without any drivers. There's just someone sitting in the co-pilot seat just in case anything goes down. So it's over. It is.
That's pretty badass. I want to ride in one of those.
It's absolutely fucking over. So by next year, what I'm guessing, it'll take about a year to polish. And once that year goes by, within a year, Uber in local regions where it's approved to work should literally go to 0, along with Lyft and all of those guys, because it's just simply way cheaper. Waymo, a Waymo is $180,000 to make, and then the fucking Model Y is $40,000 or.
Yeah,
They're so
true.
fucked. They're cooked. So this
That's a
in
good
my
point, though.
my mind is retarded. It's
Yeah.
so cheap.
And
all
their downfall was going with LiDAR when Elon told them it wasn't necessary and it's
I
expensive
still
as fuck.
get right now experts that have never driven a Tesla telling me that that's not better. So I'm amazed by those experts that watch two segments on CNN. or
LiDAR,
Fox.
which doesn't work in the rain. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. What were you saying, Alex? I'm sorry.
No, it just seems like this dump got all the boomers out that bought because of Trump. Oh, I'm out of this. But when we were looking at the monthly, what is this? Well, this is resistance. I mean, you would have been gauging a move down to like 300s anyways. Okay, cool. We went under it. Let me throw the monthly EMA 21 on. Oh, look we perfectly hit that. You can see we reclaimed it here too. This was support. So really this dump was very calculated in my opinion. It's nothing of concern. I mean, you didn't even take out the last low.
Nope.
So still on a monthly uptrend. This was very calculated. It's kind of funny to see that. So if you did buy here, that was good. It was definitely smart to de-risk off the SMA 200. But now if we get the daily SMA 200 back test, you got to look at that as an opportunity on Tesla. Because as we've seen in the past, you know, it's just like very few times you're going to play on the SMA 200 before breaking out. Let's see another example. You know, before breaking out, you had a few days of testing. You really should not be playing with it a lot, though. It should be something you play with every now and then. You play with it, you know, take it out, whip it out. No big deal.
What the fuck is going on?
No, I'm just kidding. SMA 200 though is very important, and you really don't want to be playing like around that for a long time. You know, you can obviously chop around it, but when you're losing it, reclaiming it, generally it's chop and down. So like a bullish market is reclaim, throw it back once, everyone gets very bearish again on Tesla, max long this, close the app, and then wait. Because these are my favorite trades because again, when you play with the EMA 100, SMA 200, similar to even like Bitcoin, right? Really don't like, you're not really like testing it a lot. When you get these kind of plays, they just make very easy invalidations. Oh, we reclaimed the EMA 100, let me long. We start closing below it, I'll just cut the trade. Same exact thing with Tesla now. So this has the opportunity to go to 370s. If markets roll over, though, watch this as a throwback around 306, 310. That to me is an opportunity zone. Easily can just gauge the stop loss here because you know if the monthly starts going back to the 21 and filling this entire wick, it's probably gonna break down in my opinion and go to 260. There you should see a bounce. So yeah, I mean pretty good. It's interesting to see that. It really does just seem like this dump was nothing more than just highly calculated. We're right back now where we were before we dumped. And now we're just consolidating, holding above all major moving averages.
But that would be impossible. The news said that the fight was real and that Elon was going to lose all of his government contracts and that Trump and he were going to argue all the time and not realize that this is just a money grab. But hey, the news knows what they're talking about, and also everyone on X. That's what I've learned. They really do. Good for them.
And that's why TA is great because like we can look at this and be like, oh, this is bearish. Let me short this, and then you can look at this and be like, I'm not really convinced anymore. And you can see this, and you're just like,
beauty.
And then that's it. And then now we can not FOMO here, easily taken long on a 4-hour, easily have our stop here. Before we get out, perfectly fine. We can then start formulating a long idea here. While people are scrambling, figuring out what to do on Tesla, this is why TA is great because we can just ignore the headlines. And if we were aggressive, this would have been the long trigger. I just missed it. I didn't see it. And then blindly you could have long that and then printed easily 8%. So it's just nice knowing the levels to look at, knowing that if we did get a major pullback here, would that really be a concern? Most likely not.
No.
Would it be a concern to like boomers and people who don't know that? Absolutely.
Yes.
And they might panic sell this. I just like scale the hell in. So GG on Tesla bulls looking good. Academy, watch the 4-hour trigger. It's very valid. And as long as you're above here, yes, you are at extremes. So you might get a few nibbles of the apple around 326 to 325. Consolidation here is bulls fronts. So this is very bullish, but as long as you're holding above the 4-hour 34, this is going to move up to 370s.
My fucking man. And this is why we don't watch the news. Hey guys, Trump and Elon are mad. Oh no, it's going to zero.
And even it's
Excellent.
calculated because on the weekly you had an evening star there. So you had to follow through. I mean, you were going to gauge the back test on your chart. It's just funny to me because, yeah.
Yeah, no. It was literally a play.
Tweet. Just
Say that
throw
again?
Ross Gerber's. Just throw up Ross Gerber's tweet and paste it on TradingView, and I bet you it's at the bottom of that wick.
I really had to mute Ross Gerber. Ross Gerber sold here. Let us be clear. Hang on. That dude who, by the way, makes a living investing for people. Okay. That dude sold right here. I shit you not. You can look it up. I had to mute him on X because he's giving his opinion. He's like, what kind of a valid opinion do you have? You're supposed to be an expert, like investor. My job here is just to fucking kill time with my boys while we analyze the market. That's fun. And you guys teach everyone all that shit. Even I know this is stupid. That dude is absolutely mentally retarded. And now there's another one called Adam something that's also on the same bandwagon. Well, oh my God. And that's all I need to trade Tesla. I don't even know to know the technicals. All I need to see is the retards telling me, it's over. Elon needs to go away. The moment I see Elon needs to go away, I buy Tesla. It's really simple. And I make a lot of money. Thank you all. Thank you for making this such an easy game. And this was incredible how you all got played with the news. This was like literally to the T, like you're saying, Alex. This was fuckery to the maximum because even the chart shows, look at this, topping candle, follow through, and everyone's like, it's over. But what was happening right here? A big level, massive level held. And at the same time, you know that the robo-taxi is about to be announced. And I know that everyone's like, Elon is never going to do that. MBA, KHB, YZ, or whatever his fucking name is going to have to shave his head. And that's one. And the reality is they just took all of your money here so that you don't go into the party for the robot taxi, which is going to put out Waymo, going to put out Uber, going to put out all of these other companies out of business. And very soon DHL, FedEx, along with those guys too, because of the semi. And very soon also all warehouse operations with Optimus through being the real AI deployment, the first one in a massive way that hits the masses. And the people can use an $8,000 driver. $8,000.
Clearly, those are never going to be made either, right?
Exactly. So, everyone's fucking retarded. I'm sick and tired of repeating it. And
they never took it back when they said the Cybertruck would never be made.
At least Fagmara, the fat guy that makes his videos on the cars, that dude at least left Twitter. Thank God, don't have to read his stupidity. Man, that's a tough one.
All while Uber's in a just obvious downtrend on the daily today.
Uber should go to zero. I don't understand fully how anyone is holding Uber right now going like, everything is going to be fine.
Yeah, literally.
If Tesla wasn't a car company that made cars and gave it to people, and they also had a reserve of cars, I would be like, all right, everyone's going to have to buy the cars, so Uber can just be one of those guys but no, when the company directly makes them and directly makes the worker, which is the digital virtual driver, you're fucked. They're selling the productivity and the product by itself with the technology, and they're going to third party the technology. This is to me, and even right now at the price that it is, it's still a gift. A fucking gift. It's ridiculous to me that people don't see that. Now, is the market going to do some crazy shit in the next year? I don't know. But at least this is so stupidly cheap for what they just did, in my view. And this is why they did it, to get those people out. And now they know that it's going to go up. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made that show to do this dump for nothing, in my view.
No, it's valid because even being, like I was saying, the daily SMA 200 shouldn't be tested or played with a lot. So the fact that we're even getting a daily SMA 200 long trigger is, it's cheap. Tesla's cheap then because it should be experienced. So
Looking very, very good in prime, baby. For the next ones, we got FNMA, F as in fruity, N as in ninja, M as in mother, and A as in Alex. FNMA and Amazon. We want to know what Jeff Bezos is up to.
Amazon.
See what that motherfucker is up to. All righty. Thank you, boys.
He's
Perfecto.
sending his wife to space again.
Well, he's hoping that time can stop so that her mouth can fucking also stay the way it is and doesn't get worse, because it's fucking crazy how she looks like a monster. But hey, Mark Zuckerberg and all of them like to fucking look at her titties and ass. So I guess that's, by the way, that's a real type of person. I don't know if you're familiar with that game. I have a friend that since we were young, he would be like, well, when we were young, mostly, not for years, hasn't been like this. But we would go anywhere and he would have a girlfriend with like a nice ass or like nice titties. And one day we were at a club and this is how it started. I'm at a club, I'm sitting, I'm looking at like, I'm drinking, looking, whatever. And he goes, hey, doesn't my girlfriend have the best ass? And I just looked and I looked at her, I was like, and turn around. Because I don't know if I should say yes or no. And then he was like, hey, look at my girl's titties. I love when people look at her. I was like, oh man, this is terrible. So I think Jeff Bezos is one of those guys. He likes to show Mark Zuckerberg the titties. Because Mark can't get them.
Zuck the cook.
Ok, perdonen, estamos viendo Tesla y esto es por las razones que no creemos nada que vemos en las noticias. Esto fue la gran pelea de Trump, damas y caballeros, con Elon Musk. ¡Oh, se acabó el mundo! Tesla cae, ni siquiera toca el semanal, el EMA 100, ni siquiera lo toca. Compramos el fondo, todo el mundo está llorando y para esto ni siquiera necesito análisis técnico. Lo único que tengo que hacer es ir a X y ver cuánta gente está llorando de que tienen que despedir a Elon. No sé cuántas veces lo he repetido, pero pasa cada vez. Y después de eso, tal cual como debe de, tenemos el movimiento agresivo a la alza, después de que claramente les hicieron un dump a propósito, que además se refleja en la tabla como tal, acá, con una vela topera, tienes la caída hasta el nivel de los 273 y de ahí tienes el rebote de la historia. No nada más eso, no tocas el EMA 100, habías ya roto el SMA 200, que es raro retestearlo, ya lo retesteaste, estás creando estructura alcista y así es como se chingaron a todos los idiotas con la narrativa de que, porque recuerden, no son noticias, la narrativa de que Trump y Elon se están peleando y hoy ya están diciendo que van a hacer las paces, que se quieren mucho, etcétera. Felicidades a todos los que vendieron, de verdad, de corazón. Tienes que ser cierta persona para que en el 2025 creas lo que ves las noticias y de verdad tú calificaste para todo eso. Muchas felicidades y vendiste todo tu Tesla, porque no nada más eso. Tienes ahora que los robotaxis están empezando en Austin a funcionar sin piloto y trae nada más un copiloto. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? La primera cosa literalmente que funciona así va a destruir a todo Uber, va a destruir a todo Waymo, va a destruir a todo Lyft, va a destruir todo eso, va a destruir al mundo de las entregas también, DHL, FedEx, etcétera. Todos con el SEMA y después con los robots. Esto fue literalmente para quitarle a la gente su dinero, aprovechar el short y aquí compraron todos ellos y ahora se van a ir al cielo con esto. Vamos a ver qué tanto puede expandir Tesla, pero este gráfico es muy, muy alcista, damas y caballeros, porque después de un alto histórico vienes a poner un bajo más alto, lo hiciste efectivamente, aquí fue donde el imbécil de Ross Gerber vendió con todo el respeto que no se merece y aquí estamos parados, damas y caballeros. Y aquí fue donde Aram, el otro pendejo que siempre está hablando mierda de Tesla, también vendió. No entiendo ni siquiera por qué está en Tesla, si es lo único que haces. Y ahora estamos aquí arriba. Ahora, zona importante a romper una vez más, 334. Simplemente lo pueden ver con la relación y el movimiento de la vela con esto. Y de nuevo, solamente digo todo eso para que aprendan a, por favor, no caer en estupideces de las noticias y los vean como oportunidades, donde todos los demás van a caer en la trampa de los pacos y de los jefes de los pacos y les van a quitar su dinero. Eso es literal todo mi punto en todo lo que les quiero enseñar. No me interesa estar bien o no. Lo único que quiero es que no les chinguen su lana. Mensual, mensualmente hablando, vean la vela alcista de a madre que estamos poniendo aquí arriba. Ya estamos por encima del promedio del 9, encima del promedio del 5. Estamos explotando el 21 a la alza y es justamente donde estamos en este momento. Probablemente no vaya a ser el máximo local. El máximo local va a venir o más acá arriba para la trampa, o tal vez te lo pone acá en lo que baja tantito y después explota la alza. Yo creo que en la mensual puedes ver acá niveles importantes con el 320 y 323. Ahí es donde yo agregaría mi long. No me preocuparía tanto por meterme más abajo. Y la razón por qué es, ahora les voy a enseñar un poco más de cerca la tabla. Ahí estás viendo exactamente esto. Esta zona del 50%, el peor escenario es que caigas a los 302 una vez más. Personalmente yo creo que el 9 y el 5 deberían de aguantarte en los 318, 320, que sería la oportunidad dorada, pero ahorita estás entrando en la zona azul, y todavía tienes 19 días y 5 horas. Tu siguiente objetivo van a ser los 394. Una vez que rompas los 394, tu siguiente objetivo son los 470. Y ya si nos queremos poner bonitos y chulos, después de eso son los 575 en un máximo histórico. Así que por ahora Tesla está pintando bastante bien, está haciéndolo como debe. Claramente va a tener que sacar a toda la gente que nos metimos acá, va a querer decirnos que nos equivocamos, pero la realidad, acá, pero la realidad es que, no, acá, wow, doble entrada de doble fondo. ¿Cómo? Chingada, si estos cracks me han enseñado cosas. Ok. Entonces, por ahora, Tesla se está viendo muy bien. Lo vieron en la semanal también, donde estamos por encima de todos los promedios, subiendo de la zona azul. Nuestro siguiente objetivo debería de ser los 358 y eso ya nos pone en lugar para romper esto para arriba, aunque un poco de consolidación de lado no nos sorprendería. Vamos a ver cómo abre la siguiente vela semanal en 2 días, bueno, en 3 días básicamente, porque abre el lunes. De ahí vamos a la de harina, la diaria. Bastante sencillo, la diaria te pone un poco lo mismo. Estamos justamente entrando en esta zona. ¿Qué tenemos acá? Promedio del 9 y 21, justamente en la zona del 61.8%, donde también se encuentra el 5, y es por eso que 320 a tal vez 316 vaya a ser la siguiente oportunidad de entrada potente en entradas de más alta temporalidad. Ahorita Alex mandó una señal para la de 4 horas y eso es un trade de corto plazo, no es un trade que te vas a quedar 7 días metido en ese trade. Por favor, tengámoslo en mente todos los que estamos haciendo este casino de degenerados. Por ahora, lo que nos gustaría ver en la diaria es un cierre arriba de 332 y eso nos debería catapultar a los 346 y de ahí a los 360, poniéndonos una vez más amenazando a esta zona para Tesla. Así que puesto bastante sencillo, no creo que tengas que complicarte la vida para nada. La diaria te lo está diciendo todo y ahorita les voy a sacar la de 4 horas para que lo vean también lo que está haciendo y lo que dijo Alex. La diaria, zona de interés para poder agregar a tu posición es justamente esta. Probablemente veamos esto para dar continuación. Todo esto estamos equivocados si llegas a llevarte los 306 para los 305. Acá esto ya nos diría que tal vez nos equivocamos y vamos para abajo. Pero por ahora, estando donde está el precio, las entradas para que te van a favorecer son las de acá. Va a haber esto es un poco de un gap pequeñito que puede servir como una trampa. Así que no te enfoques tanto en eso. Si estás apostando, estás comprando Tesla a largo plazo, es donde yo agregaría eso. Si estás haciendo un long en BTCC, yo me esperaría ser un poco más conservador, empezaría a entrar por ahí de los 321 y 321 estaría dispuesto a irme hasta los 316, así que mide bien tu apalancamiento si lo vas a hacer con apalancamiento aquí en BTCC, damas y caballeros. Se ve bien, Tesla se ve muy bien y de nuevo, no tiene sentido alguno lo barata que está, siendo la primera empresa que va a poner AI de verdad a cambiar, a sustituir a totalmente un ser humano que es el piloto. Te están vendiendo un piloto por $8,000 en perpetuidad y yo creo que eso es el mejor precio de la historia y un gran ejemplo de a dónde va la inteligencia artificial y a dónde va la sociedad en total. Un poco de historia, un poco de cuentos, un poco de todo. Tesla sigue imprimiendo como loco y tengo que preguntarlo en voz alta una vez más. ¿Quién tradea Tesla mejor que nosotros y Rivian? ¿Quién? Por el puto amor de Dios, póngamelos enfrente, por favor. Dios mío, ha sido un placer de corazón hacer esto con todos ustedes. Un placer. All righty, Senor Farhan, what's next?
Amazon.
Oh, FNMA, right?
It was Amazon.
Or what? Which one are you doing? Oh, you're doing Amazon? All right. Well, Alex is fucked with the FNMA one then.
I don't even know what that is.
Me either.
FNMA.
I'll look it up right now.
So Amazon on the quarterly momentum is currently trying to pick back up right at the reset zone. This is the area where it would flip back up if it is bullish, and momentum went below these lows here while price made a higher low, putting in hidden bullish divergence. If you can get a closure above 240, 252, you will have confirmed that hidden bullish divergence. Your target right now by getting over the median, which is at 207, price is at 216.69, very nice price. It would target the 38.2%, which is right now 250. That would take you over about 240, 252, confirming your hidden bullish divergence, likely taking you a lot higher. And if you look at your volatility right now, volatility is at extreme lows at 7.69%, also a very nice number. That's probably most likely going to take it somewhere around the top right here, which is right about the 61.8%. 61.8% number as of this moment sits at about $274 or about $274. That is from where we are now, about a 25% move to the upside. That's pretty massive on a company the size of Amazon to move 25%. Monthly, it's currently flipped to the downside. Very likely this is going to flip back up by the end of the month. And I say that based on getting over this quick high, which is about $214.84. Our high right now is at about $218.40. So we have taken it out by about $4. And likely, since we have taken out that high, it makes it more likely that we're going to go to the median. And that median as of this moment is at about $238, and that will flip this momentum back to the upside. And since momentum went lower than this low here, while price made a higher low, it gives you hidden bullish divergence. On the 2 week as well, momentum is now starting to flip back up, while volatility is now at extreme lows, and the jewel has lost its L signal. And now you're getting over the median as well. You haven't been over the median on the 2 weeks since this breakdown in about February. And getting over the median will give you a target of going to somewhere around $240-ish, basically, at that 50%. Weekly is now starting to flip down a little bit, still over the moving average, however, while volatility is just about to start contracting. If you continue to close below about $218.40, likely you're probably going to retest this 5 EMA and this 38.2% right around $209. But as long as you're holding this $209 area, it is more likely that you're going to continue back up. If you get over about $218.40, then it's more likely you're going to just go straight up to about $240. A 5-day is now flipping back to the upside with volatility still in an expansion phase. And we're getting over the 78.6% now, which is about $215. If you can close over there in about 4 hours, then it's more likely that you're just going to go straight up to that 240 area instead of getting that retest. 2 day as well is now starting to freshly flip back up, getting into the bullish control zone, putting in hidden bullish divergence with volatility expansion. And trying to get a little retest of this 38.2%, haven't quite hit it yet. As long as we're holding over about $214, you're probably not going to hit it. And it's just going to be a front run of it. And the continuation confirmation is going to be getting over that same area of 218.40. We do have a fresh silver cross to the upside right now on the 2 day. Very, very fresh silver cross. So if we do get a move to the downside, it's probably going to go a little lower than this 38.2% and come down to the 9. But we have no reason to look at the 9 as long as we're holding $214. And more likely that the 9 will be dragged up into price action. Daily is now starting to flip down as well. Still above the moving average, however, so it can't be looked at as a contraction just yet. While we're getting a little bit of a rejection from this $218 high. We want to see for the retest of the 2-day 90 MA and the silver cross. We want to see a loss of that 214 area, which is this quick low. If we were to lose that, then it's a lot more likely that you're going to come all the way back down to this $208, $209 area, which on the daily is right at the median. Very nice how that lines up. 4 hours now starting to flip back up. Volatility is right at the moving average. Hasn't quite flipped up yet. While volatility is very close to starting to expand again. And we got a nice buy signal right over here with pink crossing above the yellow. But it's likely going to be invalidated if you lose about $215 in a 4-hour close. Then just a lot more likely you're coming down to that median at 208.
Do you want to proceed anyway? Are you sure?
I believe so, sir. I believe so. I'm sure.
Oh, well, I'm going to go see a McLaren Formula One race. I'll be right back, guys.
I would like to proceed. Yes. Quarterly 6. Nothing. Quarterly has active hidden bullish divergence. It's going to be active as long as you're closing above about $184. And then your next target is the bullish control zone, which right now sits at about $248. And then the critical zone, because you are below 50% on volatility, so it is possible, is sitting at 553. 2-week also has hidden bullish divergence. And your next move is into the simple moving average at about 250. Weekly currently has 3 drives of bearish divergence. However, it will be invalidated with the close above $214.84. That's likely going to take you up to 240s. Does it line up with any of our RSI targets? 227 is one of them. Nope. Come on. No. We'll go to momentum. Amazon starts boarding just like the man, Jeff Bezos.
Amazon what?
Amazon's chart is as boring as the man is.
Jeff is, but he likes
It
to
just-
talk like this, very slowly and like an interesting, smart person.
It's how all smart people talk. Is they talk to you like you're retarded.
They have to. Like, by the way, they
Like
have to.
Like
who?
that one dude, Neil Tyson. Neil
Oh, well,
deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is kind of retarded in himself. It's kind of hard to explain. He's very smart, but he's also very retarded. He's like very emotionally stupid, if that makes any sense. Whereas other really smart people are not, which is interesting. I just think he knows a lot. Like he just absorbed a lot of knowledge. That's it. Not a critical thinker. Go on, sir. I'm sorry.
In one area. In Amazon on the quarterly, we are currently flipped. We're right at the edge of that pivot. We're currently flipped up, but we will flip down if we can close below about $215.84. And you are in the critical zone. So this is the area where it's a lot more difficult to continue momentum to the upside. And we are currently, I believe, lower. Yes, we are making lower lows on momentum while price is making higher highs, giving you many drives of bearish divergence possible. And it will confirm with a close below about $184. You're a good amount above that. So pretty far away from confirming that. Monthly is currently flipped down with volatility contractions, little hopium, and we will be flipped down below 230, 235.88. Then there is currently a derp of death. I don't believe we've had one ever. No, never had one. Two-week is currently flipped to the upside. Volatility, however, is contracting. To confirm volatility expansion, we need to get a close over about $229.30. Right now, momentum is flipped up above $182.46. What likely that area coincides with is getting momentum into the bullish critical zone. Weekly is now getting volatility expansion with momentum to the upside. It's going to be up above 183. 5 days getting volatility expansion as well with the momentum to the upside. Going to be flipped up above 178.55. 2 days firstly flipped up and is going to be up above 210.50 with that silver cross. Daily is now getting volatility expansion from 2 periods of 0%. That's recipe for some nice busting action, and we are pointed to the upside as long as we're above $213.30. 4 hours well is getting volatility expansion for many periods of 0%, and we are pointed up above $217.63. Got about an hour and a half to go to keep this to the upside. If we flip down, we're probably going to test somewhere around that $208, $209 area. A little bit lower. And 2 hours currently flip to the downside, making it a little bit more likely that 4 hours is going to flip down, and we're going to get that retest. On the high time frames, starting from the quarterly, momentum is still flipped to the upside. It does look like we have a nice United States pattern on the quarterly, and this would be the area of consolidation. And once you get a breakout above $242, that's really likely you start hitting the RSI target, which seemed pretty crazy at first. Now that I see this United States pattern doesn't seem that crazy, of somewhere around $500. Momentum right now is flipped up on the quarterly. It's flipped down on the monthly, but it's in the area where on this next open, it's going to be right at the edge of the bullish control zone, and then from there it should be easier to flip back up. And volatility is flipping down, but momentum is down, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. More of a bullish reset, especially since the 2 weeks already flipped back to the upside, and every single other time frame is currently flipped up. The only ones that is down is the 4 hour spot flip down, and the 2 hour is currently flipped down, which will give you targets of hitting that 4 hour median right about $208. Likely does bounce to that area though, and then I would be looking for somewhere around $240 to get hit. The invalidation.
Fuck yeah, because that's the daily 9.
240.
No. Your daily 9 is exactly, you said that 210 for the retest.
On the median?
Yeah, on the median, on the daily, that's the EMA 9, and you have a silver cross on the daily, which is perfect opportunity for entry.
And 2 days.
Yes, sir.
The invalidation for all of it is getting a tick below 161 or a weekly close below about 197. If you I don't think that's going to happen, however, I think you're probably just going to get that retest of that 208, 210 area and probably test 240 then from there.
Love it. Love to see it. Jeff Bezos must be happy. That's right. I'm going to go walk outside and show everyone my wife's titties. Ha! So they know. So they know who's the boss.
So they know I bought them.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. And I know Alex is dealing with some shit, so let's go. Estamos viendo la tabla de Amazon, por supuesto, la de Jeff Bezos, Lex Luthor, el hombre más malvado, pero bueno al mismo tiempo del planeta. No es cierto. Pero lo que sí estamos viendo es potentemente este subidongo, después de este ajustongo que hubo después de este topongo. Nos fuimos a este... Del tope, Amazon en los $242 llegó a cotizar en los 161 y muy poca gente compró ese gran fondo y desde entonces hemos tenido una explosión.
There's an issue. I think the Airbnb guy's kicking us out a little early.
Sometimes it happens. If it
Yeah,
is, and you guys got to go now, that's fine. It's 3 hours. I'll dick around here then.
No, we don't have to go now. 30 more
okay.
minutes, and then we're good.
Oh, sweet. All right. So we almost did it. Like we just missed 30 minutes. All righty. I'll be quick then. Thank you. FNMA is next, which is Fannie Mae, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I'm a retard. Yeah. And it's pretty interesting chart now that I saw it again. All right. Bueno. Amazon ha tenido una recuperación de 34% en muy poco tiempo, desde abril del 2025 hasta junio del 2025, básicamente en 2 meses, 35% de tu lana. Si es que compraste el fondo, por supuesto, nadie te está diciendo que eso es posible o que es algo que deberías estar buscando todo el tiempo, pero mínimo ver la intención. En la diaria también tenemos un cruce plateado por acá, tenemos el promedio del 9 por acá y tenemos justamente en este momento este movimiento a la alza que creemos va a dar una oportunidad para hacer esto antes de ir para arriba, y para nosotros este promedio del 9 diario es fundamental para ese movimiento y que aguante, ¿ok? Vamos a empezar de lejos. Vamos a empezar en la trimestral, como siempre, rápidamente para que lo puedan ver todo. Amazon está en una mega tendencia alcista, lo pueden ver perfectamente después de este potente ajuste en el 2022. Tuvimos este subidongo y ahora, si fuéramos a contar esto como lo que es, ¿no? Uno de esos patroncillos de taza y copa, que en realidad es más como una recuperación en B, pero digamos que explotas aquí arriba. El objetivo de esto estaría en los 297. No está nada loco. Yo creo que es para justamente donde vamos. Estamos en 216 en este momento. Amazon está haciendo bajos más altos, altos más altos. Estamos por encima de todos nuestros promedios, incluyendo el 5, que lo retomamos justamente en los 197. Y estamos en 216 en este momento. Alcista, 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 alguien dijo alcista, es lo que está pasando en el pene de Jeff Bezos viendo a su mujer llena de plástico. Y ahora vamos a la parte alta de la zona azul que nos ponen máximos históricos en $250. Todavía faltan 19 días y 4 horas para cerrar esta vela, pero hasta ahora el no perder los 207, una vez más 210 en nuestra diaria, más o menos esa zona de confluencia donde creemos que va a haber un ajuste, será la oportunidad perfecta para poder agregar a tu posición, comprar, entrar en long, para poder disfrutar este subidongo. Una vez los 249, los 250 sean vencidos, 273 vienen a jugar, y también les había puesto 290. Definitivamente son posibles porque solamente el 78.6% está en $340. ¡Brutale! ¡Brutale! Ahí está, falta nada para esta vela cerrar. Vamos a ver la mensual que nos cuenta. Mensual, estamos entrando en la zona azul, próximo objetivo 238 y arriba de los 238, 277 en un máximo histórico. Por ahora, el no perder los 206 va a ser importante para nosotros, y ahí es donde una vez más vienen estos números 210, 206, 207 a tocar la puerta y decirnos que eso va a ser la probabilidad. Nos va a dar una probabilidad bastante buena en una entrada, además de que nuestra volatilidad está reseteando en Amazon para un movimiento agresivo en la mensual. La última vez que tuvimos un setup de estos, aunque volatilidad fue nula en estos, por lo que son más potentes, tuvimos un subidongo tremendo y acá tuvimos un bajadongo tremendo. Así que Amazon se mueve fuerte. Déjenme ver este. Solamente un 94%. 94% con ese tipo de setups, y el de acá es desde acá 50% para abajo. Si te doy un 94% de donde estamos en este momento, no me va a alcanzar. No. Eso nos pondría en 420, nada mal. Y un 50% a la baja nos pondría en $100, más en $105. ¿Qué crees que sea más factible? ¿El alto histórico de la historia, simplemente porque nos van a dar un anuncio del PIB que viene con todo, además de que la inflación está bajando y todos estos cuentos que nos están contando? Sí, es por el lado al que me voy a ir yo, por supuesto. Cada quien tome su lado y disfrútelo. Vámonos a la semanal. Semanal tenemos volatilidad expandiendo ante este velazo verde, pero ya está en una parte bastante alta, lo puedes ver acá, donde a Amazon no le importa llegar a extremos, así que no crean que esto va a decir, ¡oh, qué movimiento tan pequeño! Puede ser una verdadera locura. Lo que estamos viendo en la diaria es que en las semanales que vamos a necesitar un poco de consolidación por acá, pero también rápidamente y puesto enfrente de todos ustedes, la entrada a la zona azul son los 209, 209.12 y aquí abajo en los 200, 202 es donde tenemos nuestro promedio del 21, etcétera. Definitivamente lo que estaríamos buscando basado en todas las otras temporalidades es que aguante la parte alta de la zona azul en los 209, más o menos tal vez una tomada de liquidez hasta los 206, 205 y de ahí catapultarse para arriba si es que llega a retestearlo. Si no, por ahora lo que queremos cerrar es por arriba de 220 y arriba de 220 nos debería llevar a los 234 que nos pone ya listos para ir a retestear esos máximos históricos. Además, habíamos tocado el promedio del 100. El promedio del 100 cada que lo tocamos tiene movimientos explosivos a la alza. La última vez que lo hicimos solamente por referencia en la tabla semanal tuvimos un movimiento de 60% a la alza. Antes de eso, la otra vez que lo habíamos tocado, habíamos tenido un movimiento de 60% a la alza. Y ahora otra vez lo venimos a tocar acá. ¿Dónde sería un movimiento de 60% a la alza? 258, 260 dólares continúan apareciendo en nuestra tabla. De harina, la diaria, tenemos volatilidad expandiendo ante este subidongo, lo puedes ver por acá después de 2 periodos de nula volatilidad. Bien, nos da un setup de Hamas que empieza a explotar a la alza, por supuesto, y esto nos pone justamente casi a toparnos con el 61.8%. Amazon se ha ido hasta el 88.3% que nos llevaría a esto, pero por ahora esta vela va a cerrar el día de hoy. La parte alta de la zona azul está en los 214, la media justamente está en 208 y el promedio del 21 en 206, que es justamente donde pensamos esta sería la zona de mega oportunidad. Invalidación de todo esto abajo de los 200 dólares. Si empiezas a ver cierres diarios debajo de los 200 dólares, vamos para abajo. Pero siempre y cuando aguante esta zona, esta debería ser tu zona de oportunidad potente para que lo tengas. Y existe la posibilidad de ir a los 202, 206 dólares. No voy a, digo, 202 dólares. No voy a decir que no, pero sería rápido. Así que para eliminarte, si entraste acá, te haría y tú, no mames, y te chingó. Así que ten eso en mente si vas a hacer esta apuesta, vas a entrar en este trade con apalancamiento para poder tenerlo en tu posición y también puedes tradear Amazon en BTCC con apalancamiento, como todo un buen degenerado como nosotros. Aquí abajo tienen los enlaces en la descripción del video. Vámonos a ver lo que tiene Alex, FNMA, Fannie Mae, damas y caballeros. Aquí estamos. En vivo y a todo color.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the chart, it's very straightforward in my opinion. Let's go to the weekly here. So we had a weekly EMA9 retest actually last week. It's very bullish. That's what you want to see. I'm not convinced that we're going to break out quite yet. We don't have a lot of data on this chart, but with what we do see, you're at the extremes on the weekly. That's significant for me, specifically with volatility creeping up to extremes as well. You know, consolidation within this range would make sense. You could even be forming potentially a new range. We go here and go to the 5-day. That doesn't really show what I wanted to see. Let's go to the 2-day.
What do you mean you don't have enough data? This is a chart from 1970 something. Oh, 69.
Is there?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, 70. So I'm absolutely... You have a lot of data. Yeah, I didn't see that. I thought it was from like 08. No, good correction. Absolutely have a lot of data. So then that actually is a good, that solidifies the 95% range then on the weekly. That's significant. You absolutely, as a bull, want to see consolidation. As a bear, you want to see this reject at 1030 because, yeah, this is a very significant level. You know, you can obviously be at, higher, more towards the 97.5%, but with under this resistance at 1030, it's definitely not dumb to be looking at potentially a new range and new consolidation. New range, point being, is potentially at this wick high here. You could just be playing within here. Support being around $8.52, resistance being at $10.32. Let's check the daily. So even the 2-day, let's do the 2-day, yeah. Said daily, let's do the 2-day. Even the 2-day here is at the extreme. So, I mean, you're kind of like wanting this to be the gap fill and then up, but it would be more convincing if you can actually get consolidation under 1030. That would be a great thing because what you don't want is this to hit 1030, roll over, and then make its way back to around $8. it'd still be okay, but it'd just be very volatile. Better yet, it'd be better to see this, let the ranges step up in the coming days, weeks, and then we get another shot at potentially testing all-time high. It's all really going to determine and lie at $10.30 for bulls and bears. Yeah, look at that. 5 days even at the 95%. What about the daily? Let's see that. What you see here, when you see the 50% right around $10.30, 61.8 right around $10.24. So it's a good area right around like 1030 to 1049 to be watching closely, because this is still on a daily breakdown. Now you did hit the extremes on the daily, and this is kind of the point being that once you hit extremes on this chart, better yet to see consolidation or even a bounce. So you got the bounce, but this is still in breakdown, and all this move has really done, which is a mean reversion move, is reset volatility. So it's resetting while you're potentially putting in that bearish retest on the daily. The hopium is that the moving averages are still holding, and granted that is good hopium. We've seen FNMA hold the daily EMA9 pretty nicely on the move up from $6.43 all the way up to $11.80. So that is important, but like I said, you just want to see $10.30 get reclaimed, and then consolidation above there would be quite nice. Since we do have a lot of data, let's check this chart. Let's get off of this and let's see where we're at. So we see on the quarterly, we have the 9 and the 21 crossing. That's interesting to see, actually, because that hasn't occurred in a very long time. Really, last occurrence was when it bigly dumped in 07. So the fact that we're starting to see them cross on the quarterly here is bullish. Now, does it make sense that we're getting some resistance here? Absolutely. I mean, 1148 was the meme line. We have the quarterly EMA 100 here. But what you're noticing is, the EMA 9 on the quarterly is starting to move up nicely. Now, ideally, this can just start moving up and it can reconnect with the quarterly, as you see here, this low. If it can reconnect with this quarterly low, that'd be quite bullish to me. And then it's pretty easy for bulls. You just want 1170 to get reclaimed. That'll then really open the door to go all the way up to potentially $17.20 to like $18. And that's like the real fun move, in my opinion. And then the monthly, you're just bulls want the monthly to turn green. They want to keep holding $10.30 because until last month, you actually reclaimed the monthly at $10.30. And then it's the same thing with the daily. The quarterly is the monthly. You just want the as price goes up, you want the monthly 9 to meet with price, reconnecting, making it very bullish. What you're noticing is higher lows are being formed at the monthly 9. So if it reconnects, it'll be good confluence at potentially the monthly higher lows in on that dump that we saw in the. When did this dump actually? Because I guess last week, swiped all the way down to $7. So yeah, I mean, that is why it's going to be important to reclaim 1030, because you are at a risk of a breakdown, and that is what bears are going to be looking at. Getting back above 1030 starts diminishing their idea of like a bearish retest. So moving averages, granted, are still holding too, so it's not looking the worst. You did have a higher high break, so a higher low did make sense. Weekly still in an uptrend. You never took the last higher low out here, so 3 days in an uptrend as well. So yeah, I mean, bears' dreams lie in the bearish retest hopium, but trend is still saying it's up. And then let's do the 15-day. Higher high, yeah, I mean, plays into potentially the consolidation. Either consolidates here on the 15-day, plays this massive range, or you start really seeing 1030 get reclaimed on like the daily, weekly, leading to the 15-day reclaiming that. Was that it? I mean, no, it had to be over here too. So we're really just playing within this range here. The hopium is that, yeah, you just kind of do this, right? And then you get the breakout move. And that's why 1030 will be quite important. So what you're noticing is once you really got that 15-day reclaim at 1030, and remember, it'll be the monthly, the weekly, the daily, like 1030 is the line in the sand. That's when the fun begins for FNMA, Fannie Mae, the old Fannie Mae. It's just level to level, and it likes to play that. So until then, you are at resistance. Bears will be looking at 1030 to reject. Bulls want that to start getting reclaimed, and it'll start on the daily. Daily reclaims at 1030 will be quite bullish. That'll then give you the next objective around 1150. If you start losing, call it the daily EMA 100, because this will, within the next day or two, move up to around $7. If you start losing the daily EMA 100, yeah, this will start really not looking good anymore. And the next objective will be around the $4. Until then, though, I mean, you can easily just play the trend. Higher time frame trend is up. So this is looking quite nice. This dump was just like a gap fill, and this was more of an opportunity. We broke out. We aggressively back tested it. And now this has all the itchings for a massive breakout. Breakout does occur when you do reclaim 1030, move up to 1150, break this wick high and reclaim. Next objective will be around $17. The most bullish thing will be this. If you get this, and then you bull flag, and then break out, retest, and then move up to there, it would be very bullish. So,
Perfecto, señor. Thank you. Thank you. And do we have another 15 minutes to do another one? Can we do before you guys go in, then I'll translate so that I can spend some time with the people. You can throw down, Farhan, some euro dollar and peso dollar.
The guy wants to do a walkthrough. We gotta hide the cats.
Right now? All right, do your thing. Don't worry about it. I got it. You boys, motherfucker.
I could summarize euro real fast.
Do it.
If you want. Like
do it up, son.
Yeah, I mean, Euro's just in a massive breakout. We were quickly talking about that $1, 1.127 level to 1.1258. It did hold. So, you know, the objective now is that 1.1954 level. You're just playing the trend now. So, like, remember, we wanted the daily 9 to get lost. It still hasn't gotten lost, and that just shows the strength. The objective was, if you did lose support and the 34, the EMA 100, but again, it's not really playing out. You have volatility expanding, and this is really showing you a breakout. So again, next objective really for me will be obviously these highs right at, you know, just April 21st highs. You can easily draw a meme line here now. You start flipping that into support. Next objective will be the 1.1952 with daily volatility supporting that. So yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty fucking straightforward. All righty, my ninja. You go, enjoy. Good luck getting out of there. And I fucking hate Mexican Airbnbs where the guy just shows up and doesn't leave until you leave. It's the fucking worst in the universe. Good luck with that, dude. Thank you for everything. Have a good one. Safe Travels. Ok, voy a empezar con Fannie Mae, que fue la pasada, rapidísimo. Es súper fácil. Y ahorita le damos al peso también para que lo tengan en mente. Empezamos con Fannie Mae, una empresa de hipotecas básicamente en Gringolandia, la más, o sea, tenemos datos de 1960 y cacho. Güey, poniendo la trimestral con el HPDR, porque hay suficientes datos, una vez más. Estamos hablando que esta tabla empieza en 1970. Es más vieja que su tío Salo por el doble, cabrón. O sea, podría ser mi mamá esta tabla. Tal vez no, tal vez no, pero cerca. Podría ser una tía muy cercana. Ok, podemos ver que en la trimestral estamos por encima del 100%, lo que nos dice que necesitamos un poco de consolidación. Pueden ver que el promedio del 100, justamente el EMA 100 fue un rechazo. Esta tabla no le he tocado desde que la analizamos la última vez. Y ven lo bien que funcionan los niveles en todo. Seguimos en este 100%, lo que nos dice consolidación es lo más probable. Ahora, ¿cómo se verá en la de 6 meses con el HPDR? No mames, el 100% está en 10.65, lo que te continúa diciendo que por acá va a haber consolidación y puedes ver tu promedio del 5. Ahora, objetivo 15.46. Bien, ese es el promedio del 100. Y en el anual, ¿cómo se ve el anual? En la anual todavía deberíamos de poder llegar a los 12 hasta los 14 dólares de acuerdo a esto. Tenemos el promedio del 55 en el 16.88. Es importante hacer esto por más estúpido que parezca, porque esto es la cosa más alcista que he visto en un rato. Me gustaría entender por qué. Voy a tal vez investigar honestamente, no entiendo, porque está relacionado directamente con hipotecas, si no estoy equivocado. Vamos a ver. Tengo ni puta idea, pero está como loco todos los stats de esta cosa. Fannie Mae. Bueno, ahora, ya vieron el HPDR que en todas las temporalidades está básicamente así. ¿Qué es lo que estamos viendo? Estamos viendo que literalmente venimos, una vez que rompimos el SMA 200 en la mensual, tuvimos este movimiento agresivo a la alza. ¿Qué nos dice esto? Va a haber una oportunidad gigantesca en el retesteo o del 100 o del 200, dependiendo cuál sea la que viste. Personalmente yo lo tomaría en el 100 cuando llegue al 100. Estamos muy lejos de eso. No sé si lo vaya a retestear o cuándo lo vaya a retestear. Este gráfico tiene demasiados datos y se mueve lento, pero agresivamente en estas últimas velas. Pueden ver que todas las de antes básicamente eran velas con muy poco rango y ahora estas velas son totalmente explosivas. La volatilidad dentro de cada una es gigante. Llegamos a un máximo local en los 11.91 y estamos cotizando en $10 en este momento. Vamos a la semanal. Semanal también en extremos con volatilidad, lo que nos dice que hemos llegado, pero puedes marcar un doble extremo de volatilidad tranquilo con esta tabla y te va a continuar empujando a la alza. Yo creo que oportunidades grandes en la semanal sería los $8, tal vez hasta los 7. Buenas oportunidades haciendo bajos más altos, pero tíos, tiene que consolidar esto un rato por acá y tu siguiente objetivo sería bastante sencillo, sería muy arriba. Estamos hablando literalmente de niveles no vistos desde el 2008. Desde el 2008. Y por cierto, si vamos a medir esto, porque este puede ser el, ¿cómo se dice? El tasa y agarradera más grande que he visto en mi vida, te debería dar un objetivo de $20. Es el doble de lo que has visto hasta ahorita. ¿Cuánto tiempo va a tomar? Vean esto, o sea, estamos hablando de muchísimo, pero por ahora todo esto se ve súper alcista. Oportunidades de entrar en long estaría en el promedio del 9 que se encuentra en los $8, tal vez hasta el 21 en los $7. Y de ahí esperar a que no se caiga nada, pero la fuerza que tiene esto es monumental, tíos. Está recuperando el promedio del 9 para agregar un poco de confluencia. Nuestro 100 es lo que debería ser retesteado en la diaria. El 100 fue explotum y luego para acá. Puede que me cuesta trabajo entender si lo va a venir a tocar, no lo creo. Puede que un front run del 100, lo que todavía me da aún más idea que esta zona, los 7 y cacho van a aguantar, es esto. Esta fue una tomada de liquidez. Esto quiere decir que este bajón estúpido no era un bajón de verdad. Más o menos como lo que vieron en Tesla. Esto simplemente fue para sacar a todo el mundo y ahora pues vas para arriba, tío. Lo único que tienes que hacer es, si eres alcista, consolidar por acá, por encima de esto, pero lo puedes hacer todo en este rango. Lo que quieres es convertir esto en esa consolidación potente, pero lo que personalmente creo que estamos viendo es un poco el patrón de cup and handle, que es agresivo en esta consolidación por acá y después explotaría agresivamente aún más a la alza, aunque puta madre, pues ha explotado todas estas veces. Estamos equivocados si llegas a perder este mínimo. Llegas a perder este mínimo en los 7.28 y podríamos decir que esto nos va a llevar a retestear el SMA 200 antes de continuar, porque definitivamente la tendencia es alcista en macro, por más que en el mega macro no lo sea. Estamos hablando de décadas, de literalmente 2000, casi 20 años, teniendo los mejores números que hemos visto en esta cosa. Así que ahí lo tienen, Fannie Mae, damas y caballeros, con fuerza y con ansia se gana en Francia. Es como decían los de Caló, me parece, en la Ciudad de México. Bueno, en México, no sé cómo. Vamos al euro dólar. Euro dólar está haciendo un poco lo que estábamos platicando en todas las divisas. No pierde el 9 diario. Chingada madre. Lo puedes ver por acá. Bastante cerca. Aquí está el 9 diario. Ahora, importante para todos los que estén viendo esto, lo voy a poner en la mensual. Es justamente lo que estábamos diciendo. Vamos a venir a esta zona y acá es donde nos va a rechazar. ¿Por qué lo decimos? Lo primero que tienes que saber eso para confirmar es simplemente romper el 1.15 a la alza. Estás por encima del EMA 100 y ahora estás en un sándwich del EMA y el SMA 200 mensual, ¿ok? Ahora, ¿por qué digo que va a ser esto y después para abajo? Porque el dólar se acabó su tendencia bajista cuando haga esto y va a ir para arriba. Esto quiere decir que el peso mismo debería estar entrando en mi zona de interés para hacer mi tercer intercambio de mis pesones por dolarones y vamos a tener ese movimiento explosivo a la alza en el dólar contra el peso que nos va a llevar a los 27 sin lugar a duda una vez que salga todo esto. Es un poco de lo mismo, les digo, el euro, lo único que tienes que estar al pendiente es no perder la zona del 1.08, eso sería bajista inmediatamente y se eliminaría esto. Yo creo que el euro va al 1.20, el peso va al 1.18 y en el 1.18 el yen debería de ir básicamente aquí, en realidad, el 142 lo debería mantener. El yen está muy bien posicionado en este momento para lo que estoy pensando. Y la libra también tendría que venir acá al 1.4. Una vez que llegues al 1.4, probablemente hasta el 1.49, tengas ese rechazo y eso nos lleve en todo Forex a una reversa gigantesca donde el dólar se vuelve el papá de todos una vez más en los movimientos y todo el mundo se la come entera y esta va a ser una crisis mundial que dure bastante tiempo para todos porque cuando el dólar sube agresivamente, todo el mundo es afectado. Lo aprendí, no a la mala, pero lo aprendí hace mucho tiempo y pues es lo que es. Vean nada más este pe tan delicioso. Lo que sí es, yo sé que todavía no hemos tocado fondo porque todavía no me escriben en X, que la cagué, que soy un pendejo y que no sé lo que estoy diciendo porque he apostado en esto a la grande. Y yo sé que no es que esté mal, pero la gente normalmente viene a eso creyendo que están bien. Y pues bueno, los bonos nos daban un poco de razón también. Estamos en esta consolidación que podría ser denominada como consolidación alcista, donde personalmente yo pienso que los bonos van a hacer esto, el rendimiento de los bonos van a hacer esto, el valor de los bonos va a subir junto con el valor del dólar, todas las demás monedas van a ir a lo contrario del peso. Y ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros, me quité la gorra, así que disculpen por las greñas, me desperté muy temprano. Ahí lo tienen, el casino de Tío Salo con Alex Farhan para todos ustedes. Lo tenemos claro, lo tenemos listo. Se ve un nuevo alto histórico en el mercado definitivamente, en la bolsa tradicional, etcétera. Tiene cara que Bitcoin va a continuar moviéndose para arriba. Esperemos que pueda romper esos 112,000 para arriba. 114 es lo que sigue. Después de 114 estamos ya 117 a 120. Después de esos 150 sería lo más probable. Forex continúa su camino a darnos justamente este nuevo máximo, donde va a haber una capitulación en todo el escenario Forex, donde va a haber oportunidades muy grandes. Y esto me encanta porque una vez que el euro llegue al 1.20, una vez que la libra llegue al 1.4 o 1.5, el peso llegue a los 18 por dólar, ahí es donde puedes hacer una jugada con apalancamiento absolutamente brutal en Forex que te va a pagar rico como nada. Es de estas oportunidades que se dan, si no es una cada década, dos cada década, si estoy siendo, donde todo va al parejo y se va a mover en contra del dólar y todo se va a mover parejo. Entonces, ténganlo en mente. Se me hace una oportunidad bastante buena para los que saben cómo tradear Forex, por supuesto. Bueno, cómo tradear en general, porque pues, tradear Forex es la misma mamá que tradear cualquier otra cosa. Y Rivian, Tesla se ven muy bien, Oclo alcista de a madre y continuamos. Les voy a decir, Lucid todavía a mí me gusta. Técnicamente, Lucid lo único malo sería perder el mínimo más bajo que ha tenido en toda su historia. Para todos ustedes, me gusta mucho lo que está haciendo Lucid, me gusta que hayan despedido al CEO y yo creo que si aguantamos el 1.94 y no lo rompemos para abajo, Esto debería resultar en un súper movimiento para arriba y probablemente el 34 sea nuestro siguiente objetivo. Bueno, primero el 21, que no lo hemos tocado en no sé cuántos, que está en $4. Personalmente creo que sí hay una buena oportunidad en Lucid acá. Ahora van a tener malos resultados, etcétera. Sí, pero son mejores de los peores que han tenido. Yo creo que este fue el fondo de Lucid. Tal vez tiene cara de. Ahora, esta no es una empresa que conozca todos los movimientos. Me he sacado la lotería tradeándola, pero no voy a poner toda mi carne en el asador. Tengo un trade en Lucid abierto. Estoy en spot. Estoy comprando, agregando a mi posición, pero no es una gran posición que tengo. No es relativamente nada con Rivian, Tesla, etcétera. Pero ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros. Feliz miércoles para todos ustedes. Ahorita los voy a ver para poder hacer nuestro Nadie me preguntó, como de que no. Los veo en YouTube, en X, en Salovisa, por supuesto, y de Salovisa estaremos leyendo comentarios. Y pues cualquier cosa, aquí estamos. ¿Quieren aprender cómo tradear futuros? Aquí abajo vayan al sitio de Elite Trading Academy, dense una vuelta a donde dice tutos, es gratis y ahí te pone un video de 5 minutos con el enlace para que también puedas participar y ganar $10,000 en nuestro torneo, hasta $10,000 en nuestro torneo de trading, en bluffing y también en BTCC si quieres tradear futuros relacionados con acciones. Les mando un abrazo, cuídense mucho, gracias por todo, nos vemos en la próxima. ¿Cómo de que no?